Chapter 401 Exam starts. Seeing Hyuga Hazashi and Kurama Yi's thoughtful faces, Dong Shenyao couldn't see what they were thinking. After 3 years of teaching, Dong Shenyao was very clear about his image in the hearts of these students, and he coughed immediately. Then he said, "Of course, although it is said that you cannot pass the assessment of instructing Jonin to go back to school to study again, but that is for others. Since you are students taught by me, Dong Shenyao, you must be different. So I announce that if any of the 3 of you can't pass my test, then I'm sorry, you go home and farm, and you don't want to be ninjas in your life." Ah! The 2 of Hyuga Hazashi were dumbfounded. "Teacher, don't!" The 2 boys wailed, and even the weak Kurama Yi hugged Dong Shenyao's thigh and didn't let go. On the side, Uchiha Makoto watched her 2 teammates perform like this, and immediately covered her eyes and couldn't bear to watch. She felt ashamed that she had such 2 teammates. Whoosh! Dong Shenyao shook his leg directly, and Kurama Yi flew out immediately, and then hit Hyuga Hazashi's body, and the 2 of them flew out at the same time. Bang! After flying straight for more than 10 meters, he fell to the ground, but because Dong Shenyao used the skill just now, Kurama Yi was not injured. Enough! You 2 are still not men. Don't just cry when you encounter some setbacks, it's better to work hard. The face of Dong Shenyao's criticism, Hyuga Hazashi lowered their heads and looked a little embarrassed. At this time, Dong Shenyao continued to say, "Actually, it's not bad for you to give up. Anyway, I think it's very difficult for you to pass my assessment. I'll be more relaxed this way, but don't cry in front of me, I make men cry the most." Hearing Ta Shenyao say this, Hyuga Hazashi almost cried again. The 2 wanted to ask God, how could they have met such a teacher, and they even hoped that they would give up. Humph! I don't want to be looked down upon by the devil teacher, I can do it. At this moment, Hyuga Hazashi and the 2 swore secretly in their hearts that they would pass the test even if they tried to suckle, so that Dong Shenyao would not look down on them. Looking at the resolute expressions on the faces of the 2, Dong Shenyao secretly smiled. He knew that his aggressive tactics had succeeded. Although the agitation method is very old-fashioned and easy to see through, it has to be admitted that it is also very effective. At least now Hyuga Hazashi and the 2 are motivated to fight. Okay, you all prepare well today, and gather here at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Remember, if you are late, you will directly cancel the assessment and you will fail. Then you can go home and grow vegetables for me," said after finishing. Seeing Dong Shenyao's hands forming a seal in front of him, he heard a bang explosion, and Dong Shenyao turned into smoke and disappeared. It turned out to be Shadow Clone. Hyuga Hazashi and the 3 were taken aback for a moment. They did not expect that the one who kept talking to them was Shadow Clone of Dong Shenyao, but the 3 were from big families and were no strangers to Shadow Clone, so they quickly calmed down. "You said, what should we do in tomorrow's assessment? If we can't pass it, we will be miserable." The 3 of them did not leave in a hurry. Hyuga Hazashi looked at the other 2 and asked. Although Kurama Yi's grades are not good in school, and his strength is not as good as that of Hyuga Hazashi, they did not despise Kurama Yi because of this. Although the Kurama clan is worse than the Hyuga clan and the Uchiha clan, the Kurama clan has not declined as in the original period, but is prospering day by day. People are very apprehensive. Who knows, now we don't even know the content of the assessment, how is it possible to prepare in advance? Kurama Yi complained. Okay, let's all go home and practice hard, although it's only less than a day, but even if it can only improve a little, it can increase our chances of passing. The practice madman Uchiha Makoto said. Originally, Uchiha Makoto was keen to improve her strength. After 3 years of training by Dong Shenyao, she became a veritable cultivator. Otherwise, she would not have been able to beat so many boys in the class with her body and become the most powerful. A strong person, in addition to the training of Dong Shenyao, her own efforts are also indispensable. Makoto is right, let's practice hard. But we are likely to become teammates in the future, so let's practice together, so that we can deepen our understanding of each other and help to perform tasks together in the future. Although the teacher is very strict, he said some of the words are still very useful. The teacher said before that a team must cooperate with tacit understanding to be able to exert the greatest strength. Hyuga Hazashi suggested. I agree. Kurama Yi was naturally happy. After all, he was the weakest, and of course he hoped to have more contact with the two strong men. All right, Uchiha Makoto agreed after hesitating, but she didn't want to cultivate the so-called tacit understanding, she just wanted to find a sparring partner. In the past, Uchiha Makoto practiced alone most of the time, and only occasionally played with shadow clone of Dongshenyao. Now that she has someone to accompany her, she is naturally happy. In this way, the three of them began to practice directly in the training ground. Dongshenyao didn't go to school today, he just sent shadow clone, and he himself was doing some planning, and the content of planning was tomorrow's assessment. Naturally, he won't be like Kakashi in the original book, just get a bell and be done. He needs to assess the three people in a targeted manner. In a blink of an eye, one day passed, and the next morning, the three of them came to the training ground early because they were afraid of being late, while Toshinyao stepped on the spot. Hyuga Hazashi didn't dare to say anything about it. Very good, I'm very happy that you guys are not late. I won't say anything more when I'm done. The assessment will begin now. Wait, teacher, what is the content of our assessment? Hyuga Hazashi asked anxiously. You'll know in a while. Dongshenyao smiled mysteriously, then stomped his feet. Boom! The earth shook, and the next moment the ground suddenly cracked, and the three people who were unprepared fell directly. Hee hee, I hope you guys have a good time. A wicked smile appeared on Dongshenyao's face. He had prepared for this test for a long time. The three of Hyuga Hazashi fell a few meters before they landed. Because they were not prepared at all, this time they fell hard. Chapter 402 Makoto, Eyes Open Part 1. They fell from a height of several meters, and they were not prepared at all. When the three of them landed, they only felt that their buttocks were cracked. It took 3 or 4 minutes to recover. There was no way, who made them so young and their bodies rather weak. When the pain in the buttocks subsided, the three of them realized that they were in a long corridor. What alarmed them the most was that the other two had disappeared, apparently they were separated. What kind of assessment is this? The three of them were a little stunned. After they went home yesterday, they also asked the adults in the family. The result was that the assessment for guiding Jonin was basically very simple. The ninja who graduate every year of these, 90% are passable, and most are directly against the guide Jonin. But now they were actually pulled into such a dimly lit passage by Dongshenyao, which made the three of them at a loss. Fortunately, the top of the passage was not completely sealed, and there was still light shining in, otherwise they would be afraid if they couldn't see anything. Although Uchiha Makoto was a girl, she was the first to calm down. After she calmed down, she first carefully looked at her surroundings. She found herself in a long corridor. From her previous encounters, she could know that this corridor should be underground, and there was a dead end behind her, which meant that she could only walk forward. Although I don't know what Dongshenyao's assessment is, it is an assessment after all, and it won't kill them, so Uchiha Makoto boldly walked forward. Didn't take long for Hyuga Hazashi to make the same choice. There was no other way. There was a dead end. If they didn't move forward, they could only stay in place, but they knew that in that case, they would probably fail the assessment. It's not that Hyuga Hazashi didn't try to use Byakugan, but the result disappointed him. The stone walls here are covered with chakra, not to mention the Byakugan of his current level. Even if his father came, he couldn't see through the stone walls here. Because Uchiha Makoto was the first to act, she was also the first to walk out of the corridor. The promenade was not straight, and there were still some turns. Finally, Uchiha Makoto calculated, she made a big change and walked more than 100 meters, and then came to a stone room. The stone room is not large, it is a square room with a side length of 5 meters. Once she entered here, with the help of the dim light around, she found that Dongshenyao was standing in the center of the stone room. Congratulations, you have come here at the stipulated time, you have passed the first item of the assessment. Dongshenyao congratulated. Uchiha Makoto didn't ask what the so-called set time was. All her energy was now on the assessment, and she knew that the second assessment was about to start. At this time, I just listened to Dong Shenyao and continued. Makoto has 3 tests in total. Now he will take the second test and fight with me. Teacher, what are the conditions for passing the assessment? Uchiha Makoto asked. You don't need to know this. As long as you fight with me, I will naturally tell you when you pass. Yes. Uchiha Makoto was used to listening to Tashinyao, so she didn't talk nonsense, and directly made a fighting posture. At the same time, both Hyuga Hazashi have also met Tashinyao. Of course, these are not Dong Shenyao's body, they are shadow clone, and Dong Shenyao himself is still on the ground, but he knows everything underground. Dong Shenyao's 3 assessments are all purposeful. The first is to examine the minds of the 3 to see if they can calm down in a short period of time and make correct judgments in an unfamiliar environment. When ninjas perform tasks, they often encounter some unexpected situations. At this time, a calm mind is needed. Ninjas must keep calm at all times so that they can live for a long time. Apparently, all 3 of Hyuga Hazashi passed. The second assessment is simple. This is not so much an assessment. It is better to say that Dong Shenyao is understanding their situation. Although Tashinyao is the teacher of the 3, apart from Uchiha Makoto, Tashinyao doesn't know much about the strength of Hyuga Hazashi and Kurama Yi. At least Tashinyao doesn't know what ninjutsu they have learned now. Soon the battle began. Hyuga Hazashi uses the patent gentle fist of the Hyuga family. He is no stranger to tenderness Dong Shenyao, not because Hyuga has 2 brothers, but because Dong Shenyao also has Byakugan. After all, he also has Byakugan. Better than most of the Hyuga clan. Seeing Hyuga Hazashi's gentle fist, Dong Shenyao couldn't help nodding his head. It is not bad for him to have such strength at his current age. In Dong Shenyao's mind, Hyuga Hazashi has passed the second test, but Dong Shenyao did not stop. He's ready to see if Hyuga Hazashi has any other hole cards. Next is Kurama Yi. As a member of the Kurama family, he is naturally good at demonic illusion, but unfortunately, he has not even got genin now, so he can only use some small demonic illusions, and even these demonic illusions are not as powerful as using the body directly. The technique is strong, so when Kurama Yi faced Tashinyao, he was ready to use a physical attack, but he was stopped by Tashinyao. Kurama is easy, use demonic illusion. Kurama Yi was stunned when he heard the words, but before he could ask why, the next moment he found that the environment around him had changed. The originally dim stone house had disappeared, replaced by a garden. He was in the among the flowers. Just waiting for Kurama Yi to appreciate the beauty here, the next moment the flowers here turned into man-eating monsters, opening their mouths to bite Kurama Yi. It's demonic illusion. Kurama Yi was taken aback, but now there was no time for 5.2 to think. Kurama Yi jumped up quickly to avoid the attacks of the surrounding piranhas. The battle between Kurama and Yi has already begun, but Uchiha Makoto, who was the first to meet the shadow clone of Dong Shenyao, has not yet fought. I saw that she was posing a fighting stance, but there was no focus in her eyes. At this point Uchiha Makoto has fallen into demonic illusion, where she met her dead father. In the hallucination, her father was fighting the enemy, and Uchiha Makoto was standing by, but the people fighting around could not see or touch her father. Although several years have passed, but Uchiha Makoto still can't forget what his father looks like. At this time she didn't even realize that it was just demonic illusion. Chapter 403 Makoto's Eyes Open Part 2. In the environment created by demonic illusion, Uchiha Makoto's father was going through a great battle, and the battle was very fierce. Although Uchiha Makoto's father killed several people, he was also injured. After seeing this situation, Uchiha Makoto was very anxious. She didn't even realize that she was in demonic illusion at this time, or she had found it in her heart, but she was unwilling to admit it. Finally, Uchiha Makoto's father couldn't hold on any longer and was stabbed in the heart by kunai at the hands of the hostile ninja. Father. Uchiha Makoto was deeply saddened. Although she was sad because of her father's death before, she didn't see it with her own eyes, and she didn't even see the body in the end, so the degree of sadness was limited. But now that his father died in front of his eyes, and he was unable to rescue him, this pain caused Uchiha Makoto's spirit to fluctuate violently. Outside, Uchiha Makoto's originally unfocused eyes showed a hint of pain, and then, the originally black pupil turned bloody Yuhi, and a black tomo turned in the pupil. Success 15. Seeing Sharingan appear, a smile appeared on the corner of Dong Shenyao's mouth, but there was also some apology in his eyes. After all, Uchiha Makoto had a painful experience. Uchiha Makoto can be said to be taught by Dong Shenyao, so he knows Uchiha Makoto's strength well, even better than herself, so this second test is useless for Uchiha Makoto, and the reason why Dong Shenyao still needs arrange a shadow clone here, in order to open Sharingan for Uchiha Makoto. Although the Uchiha family has a lot of Sharingan, this is also because there are many people in the Uchiha family. In fact, Sharingan's eyes are not so easy to open. Although Uchiha Makoto's talent is good, if it is her own eyes to open, Dong Shenyao doesn't know when it will be needed. In order to improve Uchiha Makoto's strength as soon as possible, Tashinyao chose to assist Uchiha Makoto to open his eyes. Sharingan is closely related to people's spiritual power. If the spiritual power of the Uchiha family fluctuates violently, then there is a high chance of opening Sharingan. Dong Shenyao uses this feature to use demonic illusion on Uchiha Makoto. The current situation shows that Dong Shenyao's plan was successful. Shenyao chose to open Uchiha Makoto's eyes at this time after calculation. If it was too early, Uchiha Makoto might not be able to withstand the huge blow and go crazy. She is already very determined, so she will use demonic illusion at this time to open her eyes. When Uchiha Makoto opened Sharingan, the surrounding scene gradually blurred, and finally she returned to the stone room. Of course, this is not because Uchiha Makoto has released Dong Shenyao's demonic illusion. Just because the purpose has been achieved, Dong Shenyao took the initiative to remove demonic illusion. Took several minutes for Uchiha Makoto to regain his calm. Makoto, sorry, Tashinya said apologetically. Uchiha Makoto didn't speak, just shook his head. Congratulations Makoto, you not only passed the second test, but also opened the single Tomo Sharingan. Dong Shenyao changed the subject. Uchiha Makoto looked at Dong Shenyao at this time with very complicated eyes. At this time, she already wanted to understand. The demonic illusion just now was made by Dong Shenyao to help her open her eyes. Now that she has successfully opened Sharingan, Uchiha Makoto should be grateful to Dong Shenyao. But Tashinyao's demonic illusion made her experience the pain of losing her father again, even more painful than the first time, so this made Uchiha Makoto unable to express gratitude to Tashinyao. Seeing Uchiha Makoto's tangled appearance, Dong Shenyao couldn't help laughing. Okay Makoto, you don't have to think too much, you just need to work hard to increase your strength, only in this way can you survive in the ninja world, and protect people. I know the teacher. Okay, you can go up. Said, Dong Shenyao waved his hand, and the roof of the stone house cracked open, and light suddenly came in. Because of staying underground for a long time, Uchiha Makoto suddenly saw the sun, and Uchiha Makoto was a little uncomfortable and closed his eyes slightly. At this time, Dong Shenyao immediately stepped forward and hugged Uchiha Makoto, and then with his feet, he jumped out of the hole in an instant. Putting down Uchiha Makoto, the shadow clone of Tashinyao turned into smoke and disappeared. Makoto, please wait for a while, wait for Hyuga Hazashi and the others to finish their assessment before starting the third assessment. By the way, you can also familiarize yourself with Sharingan now. I know the teacher. After saying that, Uchiha Makoto stood beside him obediently and became familiar with Sharingan. As a member of the Uchiha family, although Sharingan has not been enabled before, Uchiha Makoto is no stranger to Sharingan and has been exposed to some information before, so she has been able to use Sharingan proficiently before long. The second one ended was Hyuga Hazashi. After forcing all his cards, Tashinyao announced that he passed, and then took him directly to the ground with his collar. Hyuga Hazashi is a man, of course, there is no Uchiha Makoto in 547. Such a good deal. After Hyuga Hazashi's second test was over, Dong Shenyao let him rest. After more than 5 minutes passed, Kurama Yi's test was also over. So far, all three passed the second test. Don't be too happy, because there is still a third assessment waiting for you. Dong Shenyao looked at the three of them and said, Teacher, what is the third test? You won't have to go underground, will you? Hyuga Hazashi asked with lingering fears. No, the third test is very simple, have you seen this? After speaking, Dong Shenyao took out a sign. I will hang this sign on my waist. As long as you can take the sign from me, you will pass the test. Said, Dong Shenyao hung the sign on his waist. And after hearing the content of the third assessment, the three of them were relieved. Finally, a normal assessment has come. Hyuga Hazashi thought to himself. Now I announce that the assessment begins. Following Tashinyao's order, the three Hyuga Hazashi disappeared instantly. The three of them are all normal-minded people, but they are not idiots like Naruto, so naturally they will not do anything to fight Dong Shenyao head-on. At this time, the three of them have already concealed themselves. Chapter 404 Tasks and Practice Part 1. Seeing that the three of Uchiha Makoto were hiding, Tashinyaо nodded in satisfaction. Although the three of them are still a little immature, and their concealment methods are a bit rough, Dong Shenyao doesn't need any skills to find them, but at least this awareness is still worthy of praise. This is just an assessment. Dong Shenyao naturally won't use all his strength, and he just pretended to look around. Whoosh whoosh. Dong Shenyao had just stepped into the woods, when suddenly a large number of shuriken shot out from the woods, and these shuriken hit Dong Shenyao very fast. At this time, Dong Shenyao suppressed his strength to the level of Chunin, but even so, it was impossible to be hit by these shuriken. Huh! Dong Shenyao moved and disappeared directly in place, and finally all the shuriken hit the ground. It was just that Dong Shenyao had just landed, and before he could catch his breath, a figure suddenly came out of the woods behind him, and hit Dong Shenyao's back with a palm, and it was Hyuga Hazashi who shot. Dong Shenyao turned around quickly, raised his hand to block Hyuga Hazashi's attack, but the attack didn't end. I saw Hyuga Hazashi's palms keep hitting like a palm, and for a while, Dong Shenyao was unable to fight back. 8 trigrams 2 palms. 4 palms. 8 palms. The gentle fist method of the Hyuga family is very fast, and it specifically attacks the acupoints of the human body. As long as it is hit once, it will be blocked in one acupoint, weakening the strength. He knows very well about gentle fist for Dong Shenyao, and naturally Hyuga Hazashi will not be hit. I saw Dong Shenyao's body was like a leaf in the wind, constantly fluttering, but he couldn't hit him. 8 trigrams 32 palms. Finally, Hyuga Hazashi finished a set of palms, but he didn't touch Tashinyao. Instead, after his attack ended, his body stiffened for a moment, giving Tashinyao a chance to shoot. Bang! One kick, Tashinyao directly kicked Hyuga Hazashi out, but at this time, more than a dozen shuriken attacked from behind Tashinyao. At this time, Dong Shenyao could no longer dodge, so he could only choose hard connection. Dang dang dang. A kunai appeared in Dong Shenyao's hand, and he blocked all the lily swords directly. At the same time, Kurama Yi ran over and waved the kunai in his hand to hit Dong Shenyao. Kurama Yi, why don't you use demonic illusion? Tashinyao teased after blocking Kurama Yi's attack with ease. Kurama Yi didn't speak, only a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Bang! Suddenly, a shuriken that fell on the ground suddenly burst into a large plume of smoke, and then Uchiha Makoto emerged from the smoke. The shuriken just now turned out to be transformed by Uchiha Makoto using the transformation technique. After showing up, Uchiha Makoto didn't attack Dong Shenyao, but reached out and grabbed the sign tied to her waist by Dong Shenyao. Obviously, she did not forget that the content of their assessment was not to defeat Dong Shenyao, but to obtain the sign. Seeing that the sign was about to succeed, a smile appeared on Uchiha Makoto's face, but the next moment, her smile froze. Bang! Dongshin kicked out without looking back and kicked Uchiha Makoto out, and then Dongshin Yao also subdued Kurama Yi. "You, not good kid," said. Dongshin Yao took out the rope and tied Kurama Yi. Bang! Kurama Yi, who was tied up at random, was still on the ground. Dongshin Yao didn't care about him anymore, and continued to walk into the woods. The cooperation is quite similar, but unfortunately it is still a little worse. Dongshin Yao commented in his heart. In fact, in Dongshin Yao's mind, the three Uchiha Makoto had already passed the test, but he didn't want to end the assessment so soon. Time passed, and 2 hours passed in a flash. With Uchiha Makoto's effort, he finally grabbed the brand of Dongshin Yao. Of course, this is also because Dongshin Yao intentionally released water. Yeah, it worked. The three cheered. Very good, congratulations on passing the assessment. We will be a group from today on. I'll treat you today, let's go to dinner. Teacher, you are so good, Hyuga Hazashi said excitedly. Immediately, Dongshin Yao brought the three to a barbecue restaurant and had a hearty lunch. I'll be here today, and I'll gather at the training ground at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'll officially take you on a mission. After explaining the matter, the four separated. Sarutobi Hiruzen can teach Sanin. I will definitely not be bad. On the way back, Dongshin Yao secretly swore in his heart. He is also a man who will not admit defeat. Sarutobi Hiruzen can be regarded as one of the most successful teachers in the Hokage world. He has taught 3 cage-level masters, which is a good challenge for Dongshin Yao. One day soon passed, and the next morning Dongshin Yao met with Uchiha Makoto at the training ground and headed to the Hokage building together. Yao, how did you think of becoming an instructor? Sarutobi Hiruzen was a little curious after seeing Dongshin Yao. Naturally, it is for the purpose of cultivating the descendants of our village, and I took Tsunade and the others on a mission before. After being a temporary teacher for a while, I feel that the sea is good. Dongshin Yao said with a smile. Do it well, I believe that Yao, you will definitely teach powerful disciples. After chatting for a while, Dongshin Yao quickly selected the task. The 3 Uchiha Makoto have just graduated, so Dongshin Yao will naturally not choose high-level tasks. Okay, I've accepted a D-class mission, let's go. Ah, there is only D-level, teacher, let's do the B-level task. Hyuga Hazashi said dissatisfied. Bang! His hand and hit Hyuga Hazashi on the head. Boy, you have just graduated, but you are only a genin, you can only do D-level and C-level tasks, so don't complain. After saying that, Dongshin Yao stopped talking and brought the 3 of them directly to the village. An orchard. Your task today is to pick fruit. You need to pick the fruit of 30 trees in total. Ah, it's so annoying, Hyuga Hazashi complained directly, while the other 2 also pouted. Come on, be careful if you can't finish it, then the mission will be a failure. Dongshin Yao urged. Yes. Although they don't like it, since it has already been done, they can only do it. Seeing that the 3 of them were about to climb a tree, Dongshin Yao quickly stopped them. Kurama Yi, you go up to the tree to pick the fruit first. As for Hazashi and Makoto, you 2 should be optimistic. Said, Dongshin Yao did not use his hands, and directly climbed the fruit tree with his feet. Wow, teacher, you are amazing. The 3 said admiringly. Chapter 405 Tasks and Practice Part 2. Whoosh. Dongshin Yao jumped from the tree with a backflip. You have seen the moves I demonstrated just now, Hazashi, Makoto, this is what you need to learn next. How did you do it, teacher? Hyuga Hazashi asked curiously. Yeah, how could it be possible to walk up with only 2 feet? Kurama Yi echoed. It's very simple, I used chakra. This can be regarded as an ability that a qualified ninja must know. As a ninja, you need to perform tasks in many places with complicated terrain, not to mention climbing trees, and sometimes you need to climb cliffs. So this is a very useful ability. At the same time, it is also a way to exercise chakra, because if you want to use your feet to climb trees, you need to attach the chakra to the sole evenly, so that the chakra will form an absorption force, let us standing on the tree vertically, it won't fall. Said, Dong Shenyao demonstrated it again, standing directly on the tree trunk. Kurama Yi, you haven't reached the genin level in chakra yet, so you don't need to practice for the time being. You go to pick the fruit first, and then work hard to extract chakra in the future, and strive to reach the genin level as soon as possible. I know the teacher, Kurama Yi said, a little disappointed. Faced with the two geniuses of Hyuga Hazashi and Uchiha Makoto, Kurama Yi was really under a lot of pressure. In fact, Kurama Yi can't be regarded as a poor student. If he was placed in another class, he would definitely be regarded as an excellent student. It can only be said that almost all the people in the first class are geniuses, so Kurama Yi is so mediocre. After Kurama Yi left, Tashinyao explained the key points of tree climbing to Uchiha Makoto in detail, and then let the two begin to practice. It was only the first time they climbed a tree, so Uchiha Makoto climbed about 2/3 of the way up the tree trunk, which was not surprising to Dong Shenyao. Needless to say, Hyuga Hazashi, the people of the Hyuga family, are known for their control of chakra, and climbing a tree is easy as long as chakra's control is high. As for Uchiha Makoto, his talent is good, and with the guidance of Dong Shenyao over the past few years, he has a strong control over chakra, so he almost succeeded only the first time. After seeing that their cultivation was on the right track, Dong Shenyao left a shadow clone to stay here, and he left directly. Although his current strength is comparable to cage level, Dong Shenyao still needs to practice. In this way, Dong Shenyao's teaching career began. Compared to teaching the Tsunade 3 at the time, Dong Shenyao spent more energy when teaching Uchiha Makoto and them. After all, the Tsunade trio had been ninjas for a while, and had learned many basics. But Uchiha Makoto and the others are different, and they need Dong Shenyao to teach from the beginning, so Dong Shenyao spends a lot of energy on the three of them. Of course, this is also because Dong Shenyao is a person with a strong sense of responsibility. He is not Kakashi, and he does not care about teaching his disciples. Dong Shenyao is determined to cultivate cage-level masters. As time passes by 10-10, every day Dong Shenyao will take the three of Uchiha Makoto to do tasks, and while doing tasks, he will also teach the three of them through practice, just like climbing a tree on the first day. In the first half-month, Dong Shenyao took the simplest D-level tasks, and then he began to occasionally take C-level tasks. Of course, the C-level tasks were also the easiest. It's been 2 months since graduation. Teacher, can you take on some difficult tasks? My body is almost rusted in the past 2 months. Hyuga Hazashi complained. It's a difficult task. Hearing this, Dong Shenyao fell into deep thought. Seeing this, the three of Hyuga Hazashi showed excitement on their faces, thinking that Dong Shenyao was moved by their sincerity and was about to take on a difficult task. Looks like it's time for you to do that training. Dong Shenyao's expression suddenly became serious. That item. Hearing Dong Shenyao's self-talk, the three of Hyuga Hazashi were stunned, not knowing what that item was referring to. It's a good decision, I'll pick it up today. At this moment, the eyes of the three of them were full of anticipation. They did not ask Dong Shenyao to take on the tasks of A level and S level, but they were satisfied with B level. I'll take the C level mission today. Ah! After hearing the words of Dong Shenyao, the three people who were originally excited suddenly cried out one by one. Teacher, can't we do B level tasks? Uchiha Makoto asked. Class B. Dong Shenyao glanced at the three of them with disdain. The B-level mission is to deal with ninjas, just because you are not qualified. Dong Shenyao rudely attacked the three. Isn't there still you, teacher? You are known as the strongest in the new generation of Konoha village. Are you afraid of B-level tasks? Kurama Yi looked at Dong Shenyao with fiery eyes. It can be said that Tashinyao is the idol of all the young ninjas in Konoha village, and I don't know how many people target him. Stimulation method. It's useless. Dong Shenyao was not fooled at all. The B-level task is not difficult for me, but my task at this stage is to train the three of you. If it is a B-level task, you can't help at all. Instead, I want me to divert my energy to protect you. When you said it was you who did the B-level tasks or me. The three of Hyuga Hazashi did not give up after hearing the words. Teacher, although the B-level mission requires fighting against ninjas, our strength is not weaker than genin. Can't we help you? Hyuga Hazashi didn't want to give up. Haha, I admit that your strength is comparable to genin, but now you have no combat experience at all. If you meet an experienced genin, the three of you may not be able to fight together. Dong Shenyao's remarks directly hit the self-esteem of the three of them. Teacher, I'm not convinced. Although combat experience is very important, I don't believe that the three of us can't beat genin together. Uchiha Makoto rarely contradicted Tashinyao. Don't believe it. Don't worry, I will make you believe it. And today's task is not easy. This is also a test for you and a growth opportunity for you. Speaking of this, Dong Shenyao stopped talking. He walked towards the Hokage building on his own. Soon Tashinyao picked a mission at Sarutobi Hiruzen. Yao, have you really decided? Sarutobi Hiruzen's expression looked a little serious after seeing the task that Tashinyao had chosen. Well, it's been 2 months since they graduated, it's time to train in this area, otherwise they'll never grow up. Thank you, Yi Ji. Chapter 406 Evil East God. You are the instructor, since you have already made up your mind, I won't say anything. Saying that, Sarutobi Hiruzen handed the quest scroll to Tashinyao. Well, I'll go first, and we'll talk when I bring them back from the mission. After saying goodbye to Sarutobi Hiruzen, Dong Shenyao left with the 3 disciples. Teacher, what task are you taking? Is it any different from before? Kurama asked curiously while walking on the road. The 3 of them heard the conversation between Dong Shenyao and Sarutobi Hiruzen just now, so they were a little curious, not knowing what task would make Sarutobi Hiruzen speak and remind. Could it be a B-level mission? The 3 of them suddenly had such an idea, but they quickly rejected the guess, because Dong Shenyao had made it clear before that he would not accept a B-level mission, and they believed that Dong Shenyao would not accept it. Will not lie. It's just a C-level mission, but the location of this mission is a little far from the village. Dong Shenyao said lightly. When they heard that it was still a C-level quest, the 3 immediately lost interest, and they did not ask about the details of Dong Shenyao's quest. This mission is leaving the village, are you all ready? After leaving the Hokage building, Dong Shenyao did not forget to ask again. It's all ready and ready to go. The 3 of them shouted at the same time, looking quite energetic. Okay, let's go. After speaking, Dong Shenyao headed out of the village. Soon the group of 4 left the village. This is not the first time that the 3 of Hyuga Hazashi have left the village. They had left when they performed a C-level mission before, but at the time they were only a few miles away from the village, and this time it was clear that the distance they had to travel was a bit far. As the 4 of them got farther and farther from Konoha village, the surrounding woods became more and more lush. It was the first time for Kurama and Yi to leave the village so far, so they seemed a little excited and kept looking around. Dong Shenyao didn't say anything about this, and he didn't remind the 3 of them to be careful about traps, because that wasn't today's lesson. Soon it was 11 o'clock. At this time, the 3 of them were no longer excited at the beginning. After all, the surrounding scenery was similar. After watching it for a long time, they would not feel beautiful, but they were a little irritable. Teacher, let's take a break. Kurama Yi gasped. Among the 4, he has the lowest strength and the weakest physique, so he can't stand it anymore. After hearing this, Dong Shenyao thought for a while, then nodded and said, all right, let's rest here and have lunch by the way. Yeah. The 3 of them cheered immediately when they heard the words, but they didn't notice the smirk at the corner of Dong Shenyao's mouth, otherwise they would not be so optimistic. The 4 of Dong Shenyao directly found an open space as a foothold, and then collected some wood and lit a bonfire. Dong Shenyao took out some kitchen utensils from the seal scroll, and then he caught some prey in the forest and returned as a bonfire. Lunch. Dong Shenyao often lived in the wild before, so he practiced a good barbecue technique, and soon the several prey he shot were scorched by the flames, and there was a tempting smell, and the 3 of Uchiha Makoto went without realizing it. of swallowed saliva. Teacher, your barbecue is too fragrant. Hyuga Hazashi said with shining eyes. Hey, this is the result of my practice for several years. I didn't eat anything in the wild before, so I could only hunt some prey to make barbecue. You will encounter this situation in the future. Soon the barbecue was cooked, and Dong Xinyao distributed the food among the three. Immediately, Hyuga Hazashi and Kurama could not wait to eat, but Uchiha Makoto handed the food to Dong Xinyao and said, Teacher, eat first. Quote. Makoto is so good, you eat it, there is still prey here, the teacher will eat it in a while. After a little push, Uchiha Makoto started eating. Hyuga Hazashi ate a meal full of satisfaction, and their stomachs grew bigger. Seeing this, the smile on Dong Shenyao's face became more intense, but his smile seemed to be malicious. Eat more, I hope you won't regret it later. Dong Shenyao thought to himself. After resting for half an hour, Dong Shenyao said, Okay, let's get up, it's time for us to hit the road, and try to complete the task as soon as possible, otherwise we won't be able to return to the village before dark. Okay, let's go. After eating and drinking, the three of them recovered their energy, and the four of them set off on the road again. After walking for less than an hour, Dong Shenyao suddenly stopped. Why didn't the teacher leave? Kurama Yi questioned. Because it's already there, now I'll tell you about this mission. After hearing this, the three of them became serious, waiting for Dong Shenyao to explain the details of the mission. This time your mission is to exterminate a group of Ronin. A group of Ronin has recently come here and often robs the surrounding villages. This task is entrusted to us by the surrounding villages, Konoha. Ronin. It's great, I can finally fight. Hyuga Hazashi suddenly showed an excited look when he heard the words. Although he wasn't fighting ninjas, at least he could fight, which made him very happy, even Kurama Yi was no exception. Only Uchiha Makoto frowned slightly, because she noticed a word from Dong Shenyao, that is, annihilation, which means that they are going to kill. Uchiha Makoto felt a little uncomfortable at the thought of killing someone. Unless you are in danger this time, I will not take action. Everything depends on you. As for those Ronin, they are in the woods now, you can go. The opportunity for the three of them to ask, and the instant body technique disappeared. Ha ha ha, let's go, Hyuga Hazashi shouted without any nonsense, and then strode into the woods. Seeing this, Kurama and Yi quickly followed. Although he was happy in his heart, he had studied with Ta Xinyao for so long, so Hyuga Hazashi tried his best to calm down after entering the forest, and then walked cautiously into the depths of the woods. After walking for about 100 meters, the three saw a few wooden houses, which were obviously where the Ronin lived. Hazashi, it's up to you next, Uchiha Makoto said. Don't worry, leave it to me. Saying that, Hyuga Hazashi opened Byakugan directly to observe. There are 6 people in total, 4 of them are staying in the house, and 2 are fighting in the yard. Hyuga Hazashi soon detected the situation. Okay, let's take down the 2 people outside first. With that, Uchiha Makoto took action. Don't look at her as a woman, but because she is the strongest among the 3 and has a very smart mind, she is the captain. Chapter 407 Baptism of Blood. At this time, in a simple courtyard, 2 Ronin were fighting with katana swords. Of course, the 2 were just sparring, and the fight was not fierce. Whoosh whoosh. Suddenly more than a dozen kunai flew in from outside the yard and went straight to the 2 Ronin in the battle. Not good. Although these 2 Ronin are not strong, they are both experienced people. Seeing that kunai's speed is very fast, the 2 did not dare to neglect, and hurriedly dodged. One of them even rolled directly on the ground in order to avoid it. Stand up. Dang dang. Seeing that the 2 Ronin escaped the kunai, but at this moment, 2 more kunai were shot from outside the yard. The 2 kunai were faster, but instead of attacking the 2 Ronin, they shot. In the past, the misery that was shot out. The 4 kunai collided in pairs and changed directions at the same time, and this situation was obviously not discovered by the 2 Ronin. PFF'd. The blood flower bloomed, and the two Ronin were hit by two kunai. Ah! The screams sounded, and the people in the room were suddenly alarmed. Not good. Although I don't know what happened, the people in the room ran out of the room for the first time. However, when the four Ronin came to the yard, they only saw two corpses lying on the ground, and the blood had stained Yuhi's ground. Kunai. It's a ninja, hurry up and hide. As soon as these Ronin saw the kunai on the ground, they knew that it was a ninja who attacked them. They had been in the ninja world for more than 10 years, and naturally they knew how powerful ninjas were. The four quickly hid themselves to prevent the ninja from attacking. But obviously the four of them thought too much, because the three ninjas who attacked them were not in a good condition at this time. Kurama-yi's face turned pale. This was the first time he had seen a dead person. Hyuga Hazashi was in a better condition, but it could be seen from his slightly trembling hands that his heart was not at peace. And the worst state is Uchiha Makoto, because she killed the two people just now. I killed someone. Looking at the two corpses in the yard, Uchiha Makoto was in a daze. No matter how calm and powerful, this killing was a strong shock to Uchiha Makoto, especially the two Ronin still eyes open, as if accusing Uchiha Makoto of a crime. Although she was considered to have killed people during training before, and it was a genin, but at that time she used ninjutsu, that genin turned into coke directly. Uchiha Makoto did not see blood, so the killing was right. The impact of Uchiha Makoto was not big, but this time it was different. The blood that flowed straight into Uchiha Makoto's eyes made her feel the death of life most intuitively. Yuck. PFF'd. Suddenly Uchiha Makoto opened his mouth and spit out what he had eaten at noon. Because the barbecue made by Dong Shenyao was delicious, Uchiha Makoto couldn't help but eat more. At this time, she regretted it. An unpleasant smell spread out, and this time even Hyuga Hazashi couldn't take it anymore, and they both vomited out. The teacher is so bad, he must have done it on purpose. Hyuga Hazashi said with an ugly face. Yes, with the teacher's character, he can definitely do such a thing. He must have expected such a thing to happen, so he deliberately made such delicious food for us to eat. Kurama-yi echoed. At this time, even Uchiha Makoto did not defend Dong Shenyao, because at this time, she was also a little angry in her heart. Master, how can you do this? And the four Ronin who were hiding at this time were a little strange. Brother, why haven't those ninjas shot yet? I don't know, let's take a look. Several minutes passed, the three of Uchiha Makoto calmed down, but at this time, the three of them became weak due to vomiting, and at this time they could not exert 50% of their strength. Boss, wouldn't the ninja already be gone? Maybe, let's take a look around. At this time, the Ronin couldn't wait, and after coming out of the hidden place, they walked towards the woods outside the yard. However, in order to prevent someone from attacking, their speed is not fast. No, they're here, what should we do? Hyuga Hazashi's face changed greatly when he saw the four Ronin walking towards them. What else can I do? Of course, kill them. Maybe it was because one person had already been killed, so Uchiha Makoto didn't have that much resistance to killing at this time. But can we kill them in our current state? Hyuga Hazashi said worriedly. Yeah, I'm all powerless now. Kurama-yi said leaning against a big tree. No matter what, you can't fail the mission, so you have to fight even if you can't. Uchiha Makoto said while biting Kiba. Brother, why did I ask for a strange smell? A Ronin sniffed and said. I smelled it too. It smells bad. Everyone be careful, this may be a ninja's trap. After the boss reminded, he continued to move forward. Whoosh whoosh. Suddenly more than a dozen shuriken shot out from the woods, but the speed of these shuriken was not fast, and the few Ronin didn't dodge at all, and directly waved the katana in their hands to resist. Dang dang dang. A burst of gold and iron symphony sounded, and all the shuriken were blocked. It's so weak, let's go. Seeing that the strength of the shuriken was so small, the Ronin headed was overjoyed, and after saying hello, he directly accelerated his pace, but he had only walked a few steps, and suddenly he heard a bang. The explosion sounded, and the Ronin leader was directly enveloped by the flames. Big brother. The remaining 3 Ronin were forced back by the impact of the explosion, and looked at the place of the explosion and shouted worriedly. Success. At this time, Hyuga Hazashi was happy with 3 people, although only 1 person was bombed, but 1 less was won. Soon the smoke dissipated, and I saw that the Ronin leader had disappeared. Instead, some pieces of minced meat were scattered in the big pit. Seeing this scene, the remaining 3 Ronin were afraid. What should we do? A Ronin asked in a low voice. Retreat. Soon the 3 of them reached a consensus and slowly retreated out of the woods, seeing how Uchiha Makoto and the 3 would agree. Whoosh whoosh. Another shuriken shot out. Although the 3 Ronin were also not injured, it at least prevented them from retreating. 5.9 is a pity that there is no detonation charm. Kurama Yi sighed. Who would have thought that the teacher would take on this kind of task? I would have prepared more if I knew it earlier, Uchiha Makoto complained. Okay, the task is important. According to the plan, I will cover you first. After that, Hyuga Hazashi shot. Whoosh. Hyuga Hazashi flew straight out of the woods and rushed towards the 3 Ronin. The 3 Ronin were startled when they saw someone suddenly rushing out, but when they saw that it was a child, the 3 were relieved. When Hyuga Hazashi's kunai was blocked by the Ronin, who grinned and said, "Little bastard, let me die." With that, the Ronin kicked Hyuga Hazashi. Because the body has not recovered, so Hyuga Hazashi barely escaped the attack, and at this time, both Uchiha Makoto also took the opportunity to shoot. Chapter 408 Mission completed. Taking advantage of Hyuga Hazashi's efforts to attract the attention of the 3 Ronin, Uchiha Makoto also shot. The first shot was Kurama Yi. This time he didn't use physical attack, but used his still weak demonic illusion, but it doesn't matter, although his demonic illusion is still weak, but the enemy he faces is also not strong. When Kurama Yi jumped out of the woods and released demonic illusion directly at a Ronin, the Ronin was stunned, and at this time Uchiha Makoto also shot. Uchiha Makoto had sneaked up to the 3 Ronin before he shot, and at this moment jumped out of the grass, and kunai in his hand stabbed the Ronin of demonic illusion. Be careful. The other Ronin couldn't help but reminded when he saw this, but because he didn't notice the abnormality of his companion, he didn't help his companion to resist, and attacked Hyuga Hazashi together with another person. PFF'd. Kunai stabbed the Ronin directly in the back of the heart, blood flowed out, and the intense pain caused the Ronin to wake up from demonic illusion, but it also meant that his life had come to an end. Puff. The body fell to the ground, and the sound alarmed the other 2 Ronin. What's the matter? Seeing that the 15 companions were killed in seconds, the 2 Ronin were startled, and the movements in their hands could not help slowing down, and this also gave Hyuga Hazashi a chance to breathe, but he was already injured for a few seconds. Puff. Kurama Yi also sat on the ground. He was in poor condition because of the previous vomiting, and now he used demonic illusion. He couldn't hold on any longer and could only sit on the ground to rest. Hazashi. Uchiha Makoto suddenly shouted. Hyuga Hazashi understood and quickly backed away. Uchiha Makoto quickly hand seal with both hands, surprised to see these 2 Ronin. No, she has to use ninjutsu, stop her. Pity that it's too late, Uchiha Makoto's ninjutsu has already been activated. Kaden Fire Style, Great Fireball Jutsu. Woo. A huge fireball spewed out and instantly enveloped the 2 Ronin. A few seconds later, when the fireball disappeared, I saw 2 Jinchuriki columns turn to coke in place. Hoo hoo hoo. Uchiha Makoto kept panting. Using a great fireball jutsu with her current amount of chakra was already the limit, but she still did not rush to rest, but endured physical exhaustion and threw 2. The shuriken hit the 2 corpses that had turned to charcoal, and it was not until it was confirmed that they were really dead that they sat on the ground. At this time, Hyuga Hazashi was in the best condition, at least he could still stand, but he was the only one injured among the 3. Clap, clap, clap. With applause, Dong Shenyao came out of the woods. Yes, the 3 of you have done a good job. Although the techniques are still a little immature, this is the first time you have seen blood, so it's not bad to be able to do this. Dong Shenyao praised. Teacher, you are so bad, you know we are going to kill people, but you let us eat so much at noon. Hyuga Hazashi complained. That's not what I told you to eat, right? I remember telling you to eat less, but you don't listen. Dong Shenyao said with a look of grievance. The three of Hyuga Hazashi were a little embarrassed when they heard the words, because Dong Shenyao did say it, but how did they know that such a thing would happen at that time? Okay, don't look like that. Isn't it just vomiting? What's the big deal? I'll treat you to a good meal at night. Hearing that Dong Shenyao mentioned eating, the three people's expressions changed again. At this time, they had no appetite at all, and the three felt that they would not be able to eat tonight. Fortunately, Dong Shenyao knew that the three of them were in a bad state, so he did not continue to discuss them, and directly changed the subject. First of all, I want to congratulate you. From now on, you are officially considered a qualified ninja. Sure enough, when they heard Dong Shenyao's words, the three of them temporarily forgot about the meal, and they all showed excitement. Ha ha ha, great, teacher, does this mean that we can take on B-level missions in the future? Hyuga Hazashi asked excitedly. You're thinking too much, and you're still far from completing the B-level mission. At least wait until Kurama-yi becomes a real genin. Kurama changed his cheeks and Yuhi was a little embarrassed, while Hyuga Hazashi was a little lost. Didn't continue talking, just walked to Uchiha Makoto's side first, and then put his hand on top of her head. I saw a green light emitting from Dong Shenyao's palm, which looked like a medical ninjutsu. Wow, sensei, you can also medical ninjutsu. Hyuga Hazashi said in surprise. Of course, teacher, I can do anything. Dong Shenyao said proudly. This is not bragging, he is really good at everything, not to mention basic things like ninjutsu, other things like sealing, medical ninjutsu, etc. Dong Shenyao has learned. Of course, what Ta Shenyao used on Uchiha Makoto was not medical ninjutsu. After all, Uchiha Makoto was not injured, but was just a little out of strength. At this time, he was using the force of life, but the force of life was also green, so it looked similar to medical ninjutsu. At the same time, he also secretly used 800 internal force to restore Uchiha Makoto's physical strength. After a few minutes, Dong Shenyao retracted his palm, and immediately saw Uchiha Makoto stand up from the ground. It's your turn. This time Ta Shenyao started to treat Hyuga Hazashi, and at this time he really used medical ninjutsu because Hyuga Hazashi was injured. Didn't take long for Hyuga Hazashi's wound to heal, which shocked Hyuga Hazashi. He was injured while cultivating and received medical ninjutsu treatment, but the effect was not as good as Ta Shenyao's. In the end, all three recovered their mobility under the treatment of Dong Shenyao. It's getting late, it's time for us to hit the road, let's go. Seeing the sun slanting westward, Dong Shenyao hurriedly urged. The three also knew that they would not be able to return to the village if they did not leave before dark, so they hurriedly followed Dong Shenyao and began to return to the village. In order to lighten the burden on the three of them when they were on their way, Dong Shenyao quietly released the gravity field, which slightly weakened the gravity of the three of them, so they speeded up a lot, and finally returned to the village before the sun completely set. First, after going to Sarutobi Hiruzen to hand in the task, Ta Shenyao sent the three away and let them go home and rest, but Ta Shenyao stayed at Sarutobi Hiruzen. How is it? Is it going well? Sarutobi Hiruzen asked. Chapter 409 Knife Gas. How is it? Is it going well? Sarutobi Hiruzen asked. Fortunately, the three little guys are all good. Although they were a little uncomfortable at first, they finally completed the task, and I didn't intervene. Really? Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes lit up when he heard this. As the head of Hokage and Konoha village, he naturally hoped that the more geniuses in the village, the better. Now that the three of Uchiha Makoto are doing so well, he is of course happy. It seems that these three are good seedlings. Yao, you have to work hard. That's self-confidence. Since these three people are my disciples, of course I have to train them well, at least I won't let their achievements be worse than your disciples. Seeing Tashinyao talking about his disciple, Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but smile. Hey, it's been a few years since they left. I don't know what's going on now. Don't worry, they are all good, and they will be fine. I think you will be shocked when you see their achievements when they come back. That's good, I'll borrow your auspicious words. Sarutobi Hiruzen was naturally happy to hear that Dong Shenyao spoke so highly of his disciple. It's getting late for Sarutobi, aren't you ready to get off work? Hey, I'm just exhausted, there's still a lot of work to do here, how can I get off work? Sarutobi Hiruzen complained. Okay, then, you continue, I'll go first. Dong Shenyao had no interest in accompanying a man here. After saying goodbye to Sarutobi Hiruzen and others, he left directly. Time is like water, the sun and the moon are like shuttles, and in the blink of an eye, 2 years have flowed into the distance like a river, never to return. Dang dang dang. In a training ground, there are 2 figures fighting here at this time. The 2 were extremely fast, and even Jonan could only see afterimages here. After fighting each other again, the 2 retreated at the same time. This time they did not rush to shoot, but stared at each other. Sakumo, your swordsmanship has improved very quickly, Tashinyao said, looking at a white-haired man dozens of meters away. To each other, Yaoyu's swordsmanship is still so sharp. I thought I could beat you after a breakthrough this time, but I didn't expect it to be impossible. Hataki Sakumo said depressedly. Hey, Sakumo, you're improving, but I'm also improving, so don't try to catch up with me for the rest of your life. Dong Shenyao said proudly. These 2 are Tashinyao and Hataki Sakumo. Hataki Sakumo can be said to be Tashinyao's old rival. They have been rivals since the 2 were students, but then Tashinyao left Hataki Sakumo far behind. But Hataki Sakumo did not give up, he was still working hard to cultivate and try to catch up with Dong Shenyao. After the war, Hataki Sakumo often fought with Tashinyao, and Tashinyao did not refuse this. Although Hatake Sakumo's strength was far inferior to him, it refers to the overall strength. If only speaking of swordsmanship, Hataki Sakumo had surpassed Tashinyao at that time. God is shining. After all, Dong Shenyao has always exchanged basic swordsmanship from the system, and most of his battles rely on earth-type abilities, so the swordsmanship is not very strong. At first, Dong Shenyao could only rely on strong physique fights Hataki Sakumo. However, later Dong Shenyao exchanged some sword skills from the system, and he often fought with Hataki Sakumo, so gradually Dong Shenyao's swordsmanship came to the forefront, and finally surpassed Hataki Sakumo, which made Hataki Sakumo call Dong Sakumo directly. Change. State. At the beginning, Hataki Sakumo didn't know how much hard work he put into practice swordsmanship, and that's how he achieved his current achievements. On the other hand, Dong Shenyao has too many things to practice, so he spends less time on swordsmanship, but even so, still surpassing Hataki Sakumo, which made him a little unbalanced. However, Hataki Sakumo is only envious of Tashinyao's talent, but he is not jealous. At the same time, he also worked harder because of it, and finally became the strongest among the new generation of ninjas in Konoha village, except Tashinyao. The so-called new generation of ninjas in Konoha village are those young ninjas who have never been on the battlefield. When the First World War broke out, these young ninjas were relatively weak and young, so they did not go to the battlefield. Of course, in fact, Dong Shenyao also belongs to the new generation of ninjas in terms of age, but unfortunately, due to his strong strength and record, no one has regarded him as a new generation of ninjas. So really speaking, Hataki Sakumo can also be regarded as the strongest of the new generation of ninjas, and is currently the only new generation of ninjas who have achieved quasi-shadow. And all of this is inseparable from Dong Shenyao, because it is with Dong Shenyao as the goal. Hataki Sakumo practiced hard every day, and his talent is good, so he will be in his 20s. Became a quasi-shadow. And after several years of practice, Hataki Sakumo is now not a weak person among the quasi-shadows. Although he is not good at ninjutsu, he is enough to resist any quasi-cage level master with that single sword technique. As for Dong Shenyao, His swordsmanship has also been qualitatively improved through the battle with Hitaki Tsukumo. Now his swordsmanship is stronger than that of Hitaki Tsukumo, and he has even touched the cage level category. It can be said that now Dong Shenyao can defeat many quasi-shadows with swordsmanship alone. Come again. Hitaki Tsukumo let out a loud cry, and instantly rushed towards Dong Shenyao. When the short knife in Hitaki Tsukumo's hand was blocked by the shadow chopping blade, and sparks suddenly flew. After a blow, Hitaki Tsukumo took a few steps back, and then he didn't even approach Shenyao, he just stood there and slashed out. At this time, the distance between the two was clearly a few meters, and it was logically impossible for Hitaki Tsukumo to hit Dong Shenyao, but in the face of this sword, Dong Shenyao was prepared. A knife was slashed out, and a knife gas was cut out. Although the knife gas was transparent, the air fluctuated violently, and Dong Shenyao quickly raised the knife to resist. When the sword chi collided with the shadow-slaying sword, and Dong Shenyao had to take a step back to dissolve the power. That's right, the power of the sword chi is a little bigger than last time. You also take me a knife. Said, Dong Shenyao also stood on the spot and slashed out a knife. Went straight to Hitaki Tsukumo to attack. When Hitaki Tsukumo also blocked the attack, but unlike Shenyao, he took 3 or 4 steps back this time. If you stop fighting, you are a pervert. The power of the sword is so much stronger than mine. In a few years, I am afraid that you will be able to fight against cage-level masters by relying on swordsmanship alone. Hitaki Tsukumo said enviously. Chapter 410 Ninja School Reform. Saber chi was originally an ability possessed by powerful samurai, but it was very difficult to cultivate, and samurai could not compete with ninjas of the same level before possessing samurai, so with the passage of time, samurai were gradually eliminated. Replaced by a ninja. Although there are still samurai in the world, they are no longer pure samurai. Today's samurai also practice chakra. It can be said that the only difference between today's samurai and ninjas is that they do not use ninjutsu. However, although it is the era of ninjas, the power of the sword cannot be denied. If the samurai cultivates the sword, then at least it can compete with the quasi-shadow, and even the strength is not weak compared with the ninja of the same level. It's just a pity that the difficulty of sword chi training is far greater than that of ninja training to quasi-shadow, so although the Iron Country is powerful, it is not enough to compete with the entire ninja world. Blade chi is not chakra, nor does it need chakra, but it is very powerful, and even powerful blade chi can open mountains and crack rocks and smash steel. Hitaki Tsukumo can be described as a penultimate talent, so he was able to cultivate his sword chi at such a young age, and it is with the help of the sword chi that Hitaki Tsukumo's combat power squeezed into the ranks of the quasi-shadow. As for Dong Shenyao, well, we can ignore him, because he is a man with 720 cheats. Since you admit defeat, let's end today's battle here, let's have a drink. Said, Dong Shenyao put away the shadow chopping blade and walked outside the training ground. Yo, don't make a mistake, I didn't admit defeat, I just truce first and continue in a few days. Hitaki Tsukumo said stubbornly. Just smiled and didn't speak, because every time Hitaki Tsukumo was like this, he was used to it. Now Shenyao daily life is very easy, because just half a year ago, Uchiha Makoto and Hyuga Hazashi passed the Chunin selection exam and became a Chunin. Although Kurama-yi is inferior, he already has the level of Genin, and even due to the teachings of Dong Shenyao, Kurama-yi can be compared with the elite Genin in terms of strength. The strength of the 3 of them has improved a lot, and it has been more than a year since they graduated, and they have gained experience, so Dong Shenyao does not need to follow the 3 of them for any tasks, and the 3 of them can complete the C-level tasks by themselves, and even some they can also complete simple B-level tasks. So Dong Shenyao has a lot of free time. As for what to do in his spare time, it is naturally a practice. Although his current strength is considered to be the top in the entire ninja world, he will never forget those super strong people who appeared in the later period of the original work. Not only for tasks, even for in order to survive, Dong Shenyao also needs to practice life-threateningly. At this time, 8 or 9 years have passed since the end of World War I. Konoha village has come out of the shadow of the war. In addition to its peak combat power, both the economy and the number of ninjas have recovered to those before the war started. Of course, the overall strength is still not as good as it was before World War I. Before the First World War, there were nearly 10 cage-level masters in Konoha village, and more than 20 quasi-shadows, but now there are only about 5 people who can be called cage-level in Konoha village, and there are not many quasi-shadows. However, Konoha village has now entered a stage of rapid development. Sarutobi Hiruzen and other Konoha executives believe that if this continues, the strength of the village will be restored to the level before the start of World War I in a few years. Seeing that the number of ninjas is now enough to maintain the development of the village, Tashinyao put forward a suggestion a year ago, that is, to modify the study time of the ninja school. The original study period of the ninja school was 3 years, but Tashinyao proposed to change it to 6 years. Although Dongshenyao is the headmaster of the ninja school, he can directly modify the general rules, but the important rules of study time cannot be changed by Dongshenyao himself. It also requires the consent of the Presbyterian Council and Hokage, so Tashinyao directly held a memory. Yao, why do you want to change the study time? After listening to Dongshenyao's suggestion, everyone did not rush to express their opinions, but asked. Because the 3-year period is too short, except for those geniuses, most people can't become genin at all. Although there will be a guide jonin to teach and protect later, but this time is limited, and it will only teach for 3 years at most, or even a big one. Most are only 2 years old, when these young ninjas need to perform their own missions alone. But at this time, their strength is not strong. Without Jonin's protection, it is easy to die in the mission. This is a huge loss to our village, so I suggest changing the study time to 6 years, and so on. When students graduate, most of them should already have the strength of Genin. At that time, they will accept Jonin's guidance for 2 to 3 years, and even if they go to perform tasks alone, they will have the strength to protect themselves. After hearing Dong Shenyao's explanation, everyone fell into deep thought. Tell me what you think. Sarutobi Hiruzen asked after a while. I think the elder's proposal is a good one. After all, we are no longer the one where the war just ended. There is not a lot of ninjas in the village, so let these children stay in the school for a few more years to strengthen their strength. Uehara Kai was the first to speak. I don't agree. Ninjas can only grow up through the baptism of blood and fire, and finally become strong. If they stay in the school, they are just a group of flowers in the greenhouse, what can they do? I think even 6 years of study. They can't have a few of them to become genin. Hyuga Yi Shang retorted. Immediately afterwards, other people also expressed their opinions, some agreed, some opposed, and some were watching the fun. The end, only Sarutobi Hiruzen remained speechless. Lord Hokage, what do you think of this proposal? Nara asked for a long time. Hyuga Yi Shang and the others are right, ninjas do need to experience wind and rain. Hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen's words, Hyuga Yi Shang couldn't help but smile, but then he couldn't laugh anymore. However, children are also our hope at Konoha, and we cannot let them die in vain. Being too young does increase their mortality rate, so I agree with Yu's proposal to extend the school period of ninja school to 6 years. At this time, a smile appeared on Dongshinyao's face. Although he knew that he would definitely agree with Sarutobi Hiruzen's character, he didn't feel relieved until he got a positive answer. Although it was impossible for Sarutobi Hiruzen to make a decision directly because of the presence of the Elder Council, as long as he did not object, then the matter was almost a success in the end. Just as Dongshenyao thought, after a show of hands by several people, the minority finally obeyed the majority, and Dongshenyao's proposal passed. Thank you, Suiyu Wusheng 123. Chapter 411 Task. The study period of the ninja school is extended by 3 years, which means that there will be no new ninjas in the village for 3 years. Fortunately, after several years of accumulation, the number of ninjas in the village has increased a lot, so even if there are no new ninjas for 3 years, there will be no problem. However, although the ninja school has undergone reforms, this change will not be implemented immediately. The students who are already in school are still in a 3-year system. Only when the school admits new students will their study time be changed to 6 years. However, when Dong Shenyao proposed the restructuring, it had been a few months before the new students entered the school, so it didn't take long for the first batch of 6-year students to appear. However, Dong Shenyao had no plans to become a teacher this time. After all, he had already done it once, and once he was hooked, he would not continue to waste time on it. The school reorganization was carried out in Konoha 27, and by this time it was Konoha 28. Just after drinking with Hitaki Tsukumo, Tashinyao was about to go home when an Anbu suddenly found him. "Sir, Lord Hokage, please come over." Understood. Dong Shenyao didn't ask what was the matter. After sending Anbu away, he walked towards the Hokage building. When he came out of the office, Dong Shenyao didn't knock on the door, he just pushed the door and entered. "Sarutobi, what are you looking for from me?" Dong Shenyao asked as he came in. "Hey, you are all here." After speaking, Dong Shenyao realized that not only Sarutobi Hiruzen was in the room, but almost all the elders were there, and he was the only one missing. Did something major happen in the village? At this time, Dong Shenyao's expression became serious, because he knew that if it wasn't for a major event, these high-level officials of Konoha village would not be able to get together. "Yo just met Mito-sama just now." Mito-sama, could it be Uzumaki Mito? Suddenly Tashinya's eyes widened. Now the only person in the village who can be called an adult by Sarutobi Hiruzen who is Hokage is Uzumaki Mito. Of course, she should be called Senju Mito now. After all, she has married into the Senju family. "Sarutobi, what is that lord looking for you for?" Dong Shenyao asked curiously after sitting down. "It's about the tailed beast." Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't hide it either. "What happened to Sarutobi tailed beast?" Yoshikawa Jiro asked nervously. It was only at this time that Dong Shenyao realized that the others did not know the purpose of Sarutobi Hiruzen looking for them. "You don't have to worry, the tailed beast is fine for the time being. However, Mito-sama said that she is too old to live for many years, so I hope to find another person, Jinchuriki column force, so that she can be resealed before she dies." QB 9 Tails. Quote. Hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen's explanation, everyone understood. "Fortunately, Mito-sama reminded me, otherwise I would have forgotten it. If you think about it, Mito-sama is already nearly 60 years old." Kaharu Udatane said with a look of reminiscence. "Uzumaki Mito, as Senju Hashirama's wife, is not too young now. In the Hokage world, he is in his 50s and has entered the stage of old age. Even the people of the Uzumaki family have a strong vitality, but as they grow older, their strength will become stronger. Gradually decline. I am afraid that before the death of Uzumaki Mito, QB 9 Tails will not be able to be suppressed, and the Jinchuriki column force must be replaced." "Sarutobi, what are your plans?" Dong Shenyao asked. "Now that Mito-sama has spoken, then we need to find a person who can replace Mito-sama Jinchuriki column force as soon as possible." Hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen's words, Tashinyao couldn't help thinking of Uzumaki Kushina, the wife of the 4th Hokage in the original book. The power of Jinchuriki column is not so easy to deal with, especially the power of Jinchuriki column of QB 9 Tails. Most people probably can't bear it. Nara said with a frown for a long time. "That's right, so I want to find a person from the Uzumaki family to be the Jinchuriki column force. Everyone knows that the Uzumaki family has a special physique and is good at sealing. They are the best candidates for the Jinchuriki column force. Besides, Mito-sama belongs to the Uzumaki clan, and our Konoha village has always been on good terms with the Uzumaki clan." Quote. "Yes, this proposal is very good. The Uzumaki family is very suitable for the Jinchuriki column force." Nara nodded in agreement for a long time. "But the Uzumaki family is not our village after all. Mito-sama married Shodai first Sama, and has already separated from the Uzumaki family, so there is no problem with being a Jinchuriki column, but now there is no Uzumaki in our village. A family of people, Shimura Danzo said with some concern. Danzo, you are overthinking it. Although the Uzumaki family is not from Konoha village, they are our allies after all, so it doesn't matter. Homura Mitokado persuaded. It's okay to let the people of the Uzumaki clan be the people of Jinchuriki column power, but this Uzumaki clan must be brought to our village to train, which can also increase his sense of identity with our village. It is best to assimilate him, let Ease become our village's person completely, so Danzo's worries don't exist. Hyuga Wild Bear proposed. Hearing this, everyone nodded. The suggestion from the Hyuga patriarch is good. I agree too. In the end, everyone agreed and things settled down. Well, I'll write a letter now, but in order to show my sincerity, it's better to have an elder deliver the letter. Speaking of this, Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the elders. However, several elders bowed their heads one by one and did not intend to accept this task. After all, this kind of thing is not good for them, and several people are naturally unwilling to spend this effort. All come. Finally Dong Shenyao stood up. Sarutobi, leave it to me, I will go to the Uzumaki clan. All right. Sarutobi Hiruzen was overjoyed when he saw that it was Dong Shenyao, and dispatched the chief elder, which was enough to demonstrate the sincerity of Konoha village. Sarutobi Hiruzen immediately wrote a letter and handed it to Tashinyao. Yo, I ask you for everything. By the way, this is a letter from Mido-sama. You can take it with you. Saying that, Sarutobi Hiruzen took out another letter. Don't worry, I will bring back the Uzumaki clan. After saying that, Dong Shenyao said goodbye to everyone and left. It was getting late now, so Dong Shenyao didn't rush to set off. After tidying up, he left the village early the next morning and set foot on the road to the Uzumaki clan. Uzumaki Kushina, here I come. Tashinyao was a little excited at this time. The Uzumaki family lived overseas and established the village of Uzushiogakure on an island. Well, I can't complain about the name Dong Shenyao anymore, Uzushiogakure, I'm sloppy. When I watched the anime, Dong Shenyao didn't complain much about it. Uzushiogakure village belongs to the country of Vortex, and the name of the country of Vortex is also from the Uzumaki clan. It can be seen from this that in terms of power alone, the Uzumaki clan are stronger than all ninja villages. Lore. Chapter 412 Uzushiogakure Village. The village of Uzushiogakure is located in the eastern part of the country of fire. It was built on an island, but it is not far from the shore. From Sarutobi Hiruzen, Tashinyao set off early the next morning. He was not in a hurry along the way. Anyway, it was not an urgent task, and Uzumaki Mito could still persist for a few years. Because he was not in a hurry, Dong Shenyao didn't come to the beach until it was almost dusk. Seeing that it was getting late, he did not continue his journey, but rested at the beach for the night. The next day Tashinyao set foot on the road to Uzushiogakure village again. He didn't hire a boat either, so Dong Shenyao walked directly on the waves and strolled on the sea. Only then did he have time to appreciate the sea. Although he had been here once before, but at that time he was trying to frame the blame, and at that time he had no time to appreciate the sea when the situation was urgent. Now that it's here again, Dong Shenyao certainly won't miss it again. The vastness of the sea seems to be endless. At a glance, the water and the sky meet. At this moment, Dong Shenyao suddenly discovered that he knew very little about the world of Hokage. It was obviously a planet, and the ninja world was only a continent. From the theater version, we could tell that there were other continents on this planet. It's really an interesting world. Shaking his head, Dong Shenyao stopped thinking about other continents. After all, his main energy was still on the ninja world. When Dong Shenyao came to the country of Vortex, the time was approaching noon. The island where the country of Vortex is located is not large, and the population is only a few thousand people, most of which are ordinary people. As for ninjas, only in Uzushiogakure village, and the people in Uzushiogakure village are also Uzumaki clan. After going to the island, Dong Shenyao didn't need to inquire, he could just walk directly towards the center of the island. After walking for less than half an hour, he came to a city outside. This is the capital of the country of Vortex and also the island. The only city in the city where most of the people of the kingdom of Vortex live. When Dong Shenyao came to the city gate, he was directly stopped by the soldiers guarding here. "Are you an outsider?" the soldier asked after looking at Dong Shenyao for a moment. "That's right, I'm a ninja from Konoha village, and I'm here to visit Daimyo, the land of Vortex, in the name of Hokage-sama. It turned out to be a ninja from Konoha village, please come in." After learning the identity of Dong Shenyao, the soldier seemed very enthusiastic, because the country of the Vortex and Konoha village were allies, and the relationship has always been good. Soon Dong Shenyao was taken to Daming Mansion. Knowing that a Konoha ninja was coming, and he was ordered by Hokage, the daimyo of the country of the Vortex received Dong Shenyao in person after learning the news. "Hello, I am the name of the country of the Vortex, what do you call yours?" After taking a look, Dong Shenyao found that the name of the country of the Vortex was a young man, looking at the age of 27 or 8-year-old, but he was quite handsome. "Sir Daimyo, in Shimoto Shinyao, is the chief elder of Konoha village, and this time I came to visit at the order of Lord Hokage." It turned out to be Mr. Great Elder. Daming was a little surprised. Obviously he didn't expect Dong Shenyao to become the Great Elder at such a young age. "My lord, just call me Dong Shenyao." "Then I'm welcome, Dong Shenyao, don't call me your name, my name is Uzumaki Yukio. If you don't dislike it, you can just call me Yukio-san." Hearing that Dong Shenyao did not refuse, Brother Yujing. "Ha ha ha, okay, doesn't Dong Shenyao know what happened to Hokage for you to come?" "Brother Yukio, this is a letter written by Hokage-sama. You can see it by looking at it, and I also brought a letter from Mito-sama." Saying that, Tashinyao handed both letters to Uzumaki Yukio at the same time. "Mito-sama, it can't be my aunt." With surprise, Uzumaki Yukio took the lead in opening Uzumaki Mito's letter. "Sure enough, it's my aunt." After reading the letter, Uzumaki Yukio was a little overjoyed, but his expression soon became solemn. Obviously, the content of the letter was not just greetings to his relatives. Then Uzumaki read the letter written by Sarutobi Hiruzen again, and then looked at Dong Shenyao and said, "I already know Dong Shenyao's intention for your visit. I agree with the selection of Jinchuriki column force, but this one the matter still needs to be discussed with the rest of the clan, so you may have to wait a while." Quote, "No problem, I'm not in a hurry anyway. It just so happens that I can also appreciate the customs of the country of Vortex." After the two chatted for a while, after Uzumaki sent someone to entertain Tashinyao, he left the daimyo palace with 2 letters. The village of Uzushiogakure is not inside the city, but outside the city, and this is where the people of the Uzumaki clan live. Soon Uzumaki Yukio came to the village of Uzushiogakure with the letter. "Why do you have time to come here, daimyo?" The upper management of Uzushiogakure village was a little surprised to learn that the daimyo of the country of Vortex was here. Although Uzumaki Yukio is also a member of the Uzumaki family, since the Uzumaki family founded the country, they have been divided into 2 factions, one is the daimyo lineage, and the other is the Uzushiogakure village lineage. The 2 sides complement each other, but Uzumaki Yukio is usually busy as a daimyo, so rarely come back to the village of Uzushiogakure. "Elder, the people from Konoha village are here with important news." "Oh, what news?" the elder asked curiously. "The matter of the elders is of great importance. Please gather all the elders, and I will tell you together when the time comes." Okay. Seeing Uzumaki Yukio so solemnly, the elder also realized the seriousness of the matter, and immediately called together the elders of Uzushiogakure village. Uzushiogakure village has no shadow, no village chief, only a group of elders, and the one with the greatest strength is the Great Elder. In name, Uzushiogakure village still needs to accept the management of Uzumaki, who is a daimyo, because the Uzumaki Yukio lineage was originally it is the main line of the Uzumaki clan, and all generations of the family have been held by people from the Uzumaki Yukio line. Soon the elders of Uzushiogakure village gathered. Yujing 0.6 is here now, you can talk about it this time. Uzumaki Yukio didn't sell anymore, and just told the story again. That's the way it is. Konoha village hopes to be able to select a person from our Uzumaki clan as the human Jinchuriki column force successor, and my aunt, Uzumaki Mito wrote a letter, hoping to select a person of high enough status as the human Jinchuriki column force. Quote. It turns out to be the case, but it's not a problem. We also made an agreement with Konoha village before that we can send someone to act as a Jinchuriki column force. At the same time, Konoha village will also protect us. An elder said indifferently. That's right, it wasn't a big deal at first, but my aunt asked for a person with a high enough status. I don't know what you think about this candidate for the elders. Uzumaki asked. Chapter 413 Painful Little Loli. Dong Shenyao stayed at the residence that Uzumaki had arranged for him for a long time and couldn't sit still. He had nothing to do, so he simply left the Daming mansion. Because of Uzumaki Yukio's orders before, the guards of the daimyo house did not stop him. It was just that Dong Shenyao had just left Daming mansion when he suddenly found a small loli in the side alley. Originally, it was nothing. The key is that this little loli has fiery yuhi-colored hair. You must know that this is a characteristic of the Uzumaki clan. All Uzumaki clan members have yuhi-colored hair. This little girl can't be from the Uzumaki clan. Dong Shenyao was a little surprised, and hurriedly walked up. Why are you here, little sister? What about your lord? The little girl was startled when she was stopped by Dong Shenyao, but when she saw Dong Shenyao clearly, she couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief. Fortunately it's not them, the little girl whispered. What did you say, little sister? Dong Shenyao asked curiously. It's nothing, uncle, I'm lost, can you take me home? 15 inches. The little girl looked at Dong Shenyao with big watery eyes and said. Big, uncle. Dong Shenyao was a little bit shocked. I'm the youngest. In fact, it's okay for Dong Shenyao to be called uncle by a 3 or 4-year-old girl at his current age, but he still couldn't accept it. Hey, uncle, what's wrong with you? You look so depressed. The little girl asked curiously. I'm fine, I want to be quiet. Dong Shenyao said weakly. Who is Uncle Jingjing? Is it your girlfriend? The little girl looked innocent. No, Dong Shenyao was a little speechless. Whose arrogant child is this? Is that so? At this time, the little girl's face was thoughtful, and she didn't know what she was thinking, but when Dong Shenyao was about to ask where her family lived, the little girl suddenly said, I see. Uncle, do you have a crush on Jingjing? Damn it. Dong Shenyao was speechless. Seeing that Dong Shenyao did not speak, the little girl thought that she had guessed it. Uncle, you can't do this. It's useless to have a crush. You have to be brave and confess, maybe Jingjing likes you too. Come on, uncle, you can definitely catch Jingjing. The little girl encouraged. Dong Shenyao did not expect that just being quiet, the little girl made up so many things in her brain. Little sister, you are still so young, how do you know what love between men and women is? Well, where do you live? I'll take you back. Dong Shenyao was scared and didn't dare to say anything to the little girl, because he was afraid of the little girl and figured out something else. Cut. Uncle, you are embarrassed. Forget it, I won't hit you. Uncle, my house is over there, you can take me back. The little girl pointed to the front and said. Seeing that the little girl finally stopped worrying about Jingjing's problems, Dong Shenyao was overjoyed, and immediately walked forward with the little girl. Uncle, I'm tired. Then let me hug you. Said, Dong Shenyao hugged the little girl. Uncle, is this the first time you hug a woman? How does it feel? The little girl teased. Remember, this is not the first time I hug a woman, and you are not a woman, you are just a little girl. A black line appeared on Dong Shenyao's forehead. Don't be shy, uncle. This time Dong Shenyao stopped talking and let the little girl talk to herself there. He can't wait to send the little girl home as soon as possible. Dong Shenyao swore that he would never mind his own business again. Uncle, I'm thirsty. Can you not be thirsty? I just said so much. Dong Shenyao complained in his heart. Okay, then tell uncle what you want to drink. Although he wanted to get rid of the little girl quickly, Dong Shenyao couldn't make the little girl feel wronged. I want to drink lemon juice. The little girl said expectantly. Okay, I'll buy it for you right now. So under the guidance of the little girl, Dong Shenyao bought lemon juice. How is it? Is it delicious? Dong Shenyao asked, looking at the little girl with lemon juice in his arms. Well, it's delicious, thank you uncle. It's fine, but where is your home? There, the little girl pointed the way again. Not long after walking, the little girl spoke again, uncle is hungry. Originally, Dong Shenyao wanted to say that you can't eat it when you go home, but seeing the little girl looking at him pitifully, Dong Shenyao's heart instantly softened. Okay, let's finish eating. What do you want to eat, little sister? Fish balls, beef balls, all kinds of balls. The little girl said, clasping her fingers. Hey, you also like to eat meatballs. Dong Shenyao was a little surprised. Yeah, hurry up, uncle, there's a meatball shop over there. The meatballs in it are delicious, but there's nowhere to go when it's late. Okay. Dong Shenyao hurriedly stepped up when he heard the words, and finally when the two came to the meatball shop, it was almost full. Great, uncle, we are lucky. After occupying the last empty table, the little girl rejoiced. What do you want to eat, guests? Soon a waiter came to entertain the two. I want this, and this one, this is not bad. The little girl grabbed the menu directly from Dong Shenyao and started ordering, and finally ordered a portion of almost every meatball. Seeing that the little girl asked for so many things, Dong Shenyao stopped ordering. That's all 743, please hurry up. Okay, wait a minute. More than 10 minutes later, all kinds of meatballs were brought up. Although they hadn't eaten yet, the smell alone made Dong Shenyao's appetite widen. It's really fragrant. Just when Dong Shenyao was still addicted to the fragrance, the little girl started to eat it. Eat slowly, no one is robbing you. There are so many, not enough for me to order more. Seeing the little girl gobbling down, Dong Shenyao hurriedly persuaded him. He was afraid that the little girl would choke. People like to eat it too much. The little girl's mouth was full of meatballs, and she looked at Dongshen and said. Eat if you like, but don't eat so fast, be careful to catch your throat. Dong Shenyao reminded. Well, people know, uncle, you are so kind. Despite Dong Shenyao's reminder, the little girl still eats slowly, but 1/3 of the food has been eliminated in more than 10 minutes, and then she patted her stomach with satisfaction. I'm so full. Little sister, didn't your parents bring you to eat? Dong Shenyao asked curiously. He saw that what the little girl was wearing was not ordinary, obviously from a good family background, and the meatballs here were not very expensive and should be affordable. They are so annoying. They say that the food here is unsanitary, and they don't let people eat it. The little girl said angrily. Chapter 414 Uzumaki Kushina. They are so annoying. They say that the food here is unsanitary, and they don't let people eat it. The little girl said angrily. Ah, little sister, they are also for your own good. After all, she is someone's parents. The little girl can say that her parents are not good, but Dong Shenyao is an outsider who is not easy to follow. Forget it, don't talk about them, it makes people angry. The little girl said like a little adult. Dong Shenyao didn't even know who the parents of the little girl were, so naturally he wouldn't continue talking. The two got up and left after eating and resting for a while. Little sister, can you tell me where your family lives this time? Dong Shenyao asked, holding little Loli in his arms again. I can't remember, but I just remember that you took me over there. Maybe I remember the familiar place when I saw it. Little Loli bit his finger and said very cutely. Okay. Anyway, there is nothing to do, Dong Shenyao simply does it well. What's that uncle? That's called tang hulu. It looks delicious, the uncle wants to eat it. Little Loli looked at Dong Shenyao pitifully. I am really scared of you. Dong Shenyao was most afraid of little Loli seeing him like this, so he had no choice but to pay to buy one for her. "Uncle, you are so kind," little Loli said happily after taking the candied fruit. "I really don't know how your stomach grows. I just ate so many balls, and now I can still eat candied haws." After speaking, Dong Shenyao glanced slightly at little Loli's already suffocated belly. "People don't know," little Loli said with a confused expression. In this way, Dong Shenyao hugged little Loli, walked through the streets under her guidance, and finally walked the whole city. As dusk approached, Dong Shenyao suddenly stopped because he found himself walking back to the same place. "No, isn't this where I met little Loli?" Looking at the Daming mansion not far away, Dong Shenyao was a little dumbfounded. "Hey, little sister, do you know where your home is?" Dong Shenyao asked, looking at the girl who was constantly eating in his arms. Along the way, little Loli's mouth has never been idle, and if he sees anything delicious, Dong Shenyao doubts whether this little Loli is reincarnated as a gluttonous glutton, or why he can eat so much, and his stomach has not changed at all. "Of course I know, this is my home." Saying that, little Loli jumped off Dong Shenyao's body. "Goodbye uncle, thank you for your hospitality today." After saying that, little Loli ran towards the Daming mansion not far away. Dong Shenyao had a look of astonishment on his face. At this time, he didn't know where he was being tricked. Fuck, it's too embarrassing to be played by a little Loli. No, it's a dead end. Seeing Xiao Loli running directly into the alley on the side of Daming mansion, Dong Shenyao was stunned. Running out of here, Dong Shenyao thought she was lost, because the alley was dead and there was no exit. No, what is she doing in that alley? With doubts, Dong Shenyao walked towards the alley. This is... Dong Shenyao was stunned after entering the alley. Little Loli had disappeared in the alley at this time, but Dong Shenyao already knew why she came here. "I saw that there was a small hole in the wall on the side of the Daming mansion in the alley. The opening was not big, and adults would definitely not be able to pass through, but it was easy for the little Loli just now. She won't sneak out." Dong Shenyao suddenly thought of such a possibility. "It's really naughty." After getting the answer, Dong Shenyao did not stay any longer. After leaving the alley, he also returned to Daming mansion. At this time, Dong Shenyao had already determined that the little Loli was definitely a member of the Uzumaki family, and he was able to live in the Daming mansion, so his identity was definitely not ordinary. In the blink of an eye, Dong Shenyao has been in the country of Vortex for 4 days, and Uzumaki Yukio seems to have forgotten him. Except for the two of them when they first came, Dong Shenyao has not seen Uzumaki Yukio since then. However, there is no shortage of food and drink here, and Dong Shenyao is not in a hurry. The time soon came to the 5th day. When the time was approaching noon, a guard found Dong Shenyao. "Mr. Dong Shenyao, please come over." "Well, I see, I'd like to ask this little brother to lead the way." In this way, under the guidance of the guards, Shenyao once again came to the main hall where he saw Uzumaki Yukio that day. As soon as he entered here, Dong Shenyao found that in addition to Uzumaki Yukio, there were 2 other people, one big and one small. The older one was a woman, about the same age as Uzumaki Yukio, who was sitting next to Uzumaki Yukio at this time. Dong Shenyao guessed that this person should be the wife of Uzumaki Yukio. And when his eyes fell on the child beside the woman, he couldn't help but be stunned. This is a little girl, about 3 or 4 years old, but this is not important. The most important thing is that Dong Shenyao found out that this little girl, the girl, is the little Loli who played with him when he first came to the country of the Vortex. "It's you." Dong Shenyao couldn't help exclaiming. And little Loli obviously didn't expect to meet Dong Shenyao here, and his face changed suddenly. "Dong Shenyao, do you know the little girl?" Uzumaki was stunned when he saw Dong Shenyao staring at his daughter, and the exclamation just now made him a little puzzled. Facing Uzumaki's inquiry, Dong Shenyao found that little Loli was winking at him constantly, and he understood after thinking about Dong Shenyao. Obviously, this little Loli was afraid that he would tell the story of that day. It seems that this little girl did sneak out, and she was afraid that her parents would find out. Thinking of this, a smile appeared on Dong Shenyao's face, but this smile seemed a little terrifying to little Loli. Brother Ujing, I did meet this little sister. Hearing Dong Shenyao's words, little Loli's face became ugly. At this time, I only heard Dong Shenyao continue. I met this little sister when I was wandering in the mansion a few days ago. So that's the case. Come to Dong Shenyao and let me introduce you. This is my wife, Uzumaki Akimi. Uzumaki pointed at the woman beside him and introduced. Hello Tashin-kun. Uzumaki Akimi stood up and gave Tashin-yao a salute. Sister-in-law, you're welcome. Dong Shenyao hurriedly returned the salute. This is my daughter, Uzumaki Kushina. Then Uzumaki Yukio introduced little Loli. Looking at her daughter, Uzumaki Yukio's eyes were filled with sadness and reluctance. What? Dong Shenyao stared at little Loli with wide eyes. He didn't expect that this was the wife of the fourth generation of Hokage in the original book, and the mother of Uzumaki Naruto. What a coincidence. Friends, happy National Day. Chapter 415 hit the road with Kushina. Dong Shenyao didn't expect that the little Loli he accidentally met outside the gaming house would be Uzumaki Kushina, and he could only sigh that everything was too coincidental. Little sister, didn't expect your name to be Uzumaki Kushina. It's a very nice name. At this time, Uzumaki Kushina's original worry disappeared. At this time, seeing Dong Shenyao, her affection increased greatly. After all, the uncle in front of her not only brought her delicious food, but also covered her. Uzumaki Kushina felt that Dong Shenyao was the best person in the world. Hello, uncle. Uzumaki Kushina behaved very politely in front of her parents at this moment, just like a lady, but unfortunately Dong Shenyao has already seen through her true face. What kind of lady is this? She is a little witch at all. Hello little sister, said. Dong Shenyao stepped forward and rubbed Kushina's hair. Kushina's originally neat hair suddenly turned into a chicken coop. This is revenge, he must be revenge on me. Kushina roared in her heart, but unfortunately she couldn't show dissatisfaction, but she had to have a smile on her face. At this time, if it was just her and Tashinyao, Uzumaki Kushina would have the heart to bite. After greeting the two women, Dong Shenyao looked at Uzumaki Yukio again and said, Brother Yukio, I don't know how you discussed that matter. There is already a result. After consultation with the elder 313 of the clan, it was decided to send my daughter, Uzumaki Kushina, to Konoha as the next person Jinchuriki column force. Speaking of this, Uzumaki Yukio looked very reluctantly daughter. Tashinyao was not surprised by Uzumaki Yukio's decision. After all, it was like this in the original book, and Uzumaki Akemi obviously knew the result for a long time. At this time, she just hugged her daughter tightly. Father, are you going to take me to Konoha? Uzumaki Kushina asked, looking at his father in surprise. Yes, Kushina, you must take care of yourself when you live alone in the future. Why, father? Kushina asked in confusion. There is no reason, this is a decision within the clan. Kushina is obedient. Uzumaki Yukio said solemnly. Oh, obviously Uzumaki Kushina was still afraid of her father, and she stopped speaking in the face of her father's harsh words. Seeing the Uzumaki Yukio family's three family members saying goodbye to each other, Dong Shenyao sighed in his heart. He knew that if he parted this time, it would be a goodbye, because the Uzumaki family would be wiped out in a few years. After the family of three chatted for a while, Uzumaki looked at Dong Shenyao again and said, Tomorrow, you can take Kushina back to Konoha. So fast. Dong Shenyao was a little surprised. Brother Yukio, why don't Kushina stay for a few more days? No need. Uzumaki refused directly. Long pain is better than short pain. You can leave tomorrow. Okay. Since everyone said so, it's not easy to persuade Dong Shenyao as an outsider. After Dong Shenyao, Kushina will ask you to take good care of her. At this time, Uzumaki Yukio looked like a caregiver. Don't worry big brother Yukio, as long as I'm here, Kushina won't suffer any grievances. Dong Shenyao patted his chest and assured. I'm relieved with your words. Uzumaki Yukio also already knew the status of Tashinyao in Konoha village, not to mention one person is less than 10,000 people, that is at least Konoha village's rights can be ranked in the top 3 existence. With his protection, Uzumaki Kushina will not suffer any grievances. After finishing the story, Tashinyao left and gave up the space to the Uzumaki family of 3. After all, this was the last time their families spent together. Yukio, why does it have to be Kushina? Uzumaki Akimi asked Yuhi with his eyes circled. There's no way to do that. My aunt asked us to send a person with status, preferably a woman, because only then can we fully integrate into the Konoha village. But now, apart from Kushina, there are no qualified people in our clan. The descendants of other elders are either boys, or they are too old or too young to be qualified. Uzumaki said helplessly. If it is possible, he does not want to let his daughter leave him, but now there is obviously no way. Kushina, sorry for you. Uzumaki Akimi said, looking down at her daughter. Father and mother, don't be sad, I will come back to see you in the future. After all, Kushina is still young, so she obviously doesn't understand some things, and she doesn't know what she is about to face. Uzumaki and his wife understand. They are not good at attacking their daughter, so they can only force a smile. Yes, Kushina, remember to come back to see us in the future. The next morning, Tashinyao left the city with Uzumaki Kushina, while Uzumaki and his wife stood on the city wall, looking at the silhouettes of the two who were reluctant to leave for a long time. You didn't sleep well yesterday? Dong Shenyao asked, looking at Kushina who was a little tired. Yeah, Kushina said in a depressed mood. Then you should have a good night's sleep after boarding the boat. Dong Shenyao reminded. Because he had to bring Uzumaki Kushina with him, it was of course impossible for Dong Shenyao to walk directly on the water as he did when he came. There is no shortage of ships in the country of the vortex, so Uzumaki Yukio has already arranged a ship for the two to leave. When they arrived at the pier, Dong Shenyao saw a boat docked there. Although the boat was not big, it was very delicate, and it was more than enough to carry two Dong Shenyao. After getting on the boat, Tashinyao let Uzumaki Kushina rest in the cabin, and he came to the deck to blow the sea breeze. Soon the ship set sail, heading towards the mainland. The speed of the boat is undoubtedly incomparable to that of Dong Shenyao. If it was Dong Shenyao himself, it would be enough to return to the mainland in 1 or 2 hours at the fastest, but the boat did not return to the mainland until the afternoon. After a morning's rest, Uzumaki Kushina has also recovered, but looks a little sad, obviously missing his parents. Kushina is the land of fire, haven't you been here before? Dong Shenyao tried his best to divert Uzumaki Kushina's attention. Well, I haven't been here before. Tashinyao's plan was obviously successful, and he came to an unfamiliar environment. While Uzumaki Kushina was a little scared, he was also full of curiosity, and no matter what, there was at least one acquaintance by his side. Before, Dong Shenyao and Uzumaki Kushina spent most of the day together, and they were considered familiar. Under the leadership of Dong Shenyao, Uzumaki Kushina quickly went deep into the country of fire. Looking at the surrounding scenery that was obviously different from the country of vortex, especially the forests, Kushina was very surprised. She left it behind. After all, she was just a child. Chapter 416 Place Kushina. Uzumaki Kushina has lived on a small island since he was a child, and he never even left the city. After coming to the country of fire at this time, it can be said that everything he sees is fresh. And Dong Shenyao found that Uzumaki Kushina is a snack food. Every time you go to a place, you have to eat the local food first, and then you can enjoy the scenery. That's why, every time you go to a town, the two have to stay for a day or two. In the end, it took more than a month to return to Konoha village. At this time, through the enlightenment of Dong Shenyao and the eating, drinking and having fun along the way, Uzumaki Kushina gradually came out of his sadness. Kushina has arrived. This is Konoha village. In front of the village gate, Dong Shenyao said to the little loli in his arms. It's so prosperous. Uzumaki Kushina said in surprise, looking at the crowds coming and going in the village. Along the way, she has seen many villages and towns, but none of them compares to Konoha village. Of course, our Konoha can be said to be one of the most prosperous places in the entire ninja world. Tashinyao said with some pride. Okay, let's enter the village. Said, Dongshinyao stepped into the village. Kushina, our Konoha's meatball shop is pretty good. I'll take you to try it in a while. After entering the village, Dong Shenyao introduced. Hearing that there was something delicious, Uzumaki Kushina's eyes suddenly lit up, and there was even a glittering liquid on the corner of his mouth. Uncle, what are you waiting for? Let's go. Uzumaki Kushina urged. No hurry, I'll take you to see Hokage first. Said Dong Shenyao and walked towards the Hokage building with Kushina in his arms. No, they want to eat balls. Uzumaki Kushina said coquettishly. Kushina, we'll go eat after seeing Hokage. Okay. Seeing Dong Shenyao unmoved, Uzumaki Kushina could only give up. Didn't take long for the two to arrive in front of the Hokage building, and at this time Dong Shenyao put Kushina down from his arms. When the two saw Sarutobi Hiruzen, he was in the process of reviewing documents, and he put down the document after hearing footsteps. Yao, you're back. Although he was greeting Tashinyao, Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes were on Uzumaki Kushina at this time. Sarutobi, this is Uzumaki Kushina, the one chosen by the Uzumaki clan to be the Jinchuriki column force, and she is the daughter of the daimyo of the Uzumaki kingdom. Tashinyao introduced. Learning the identity of Uzumaki Kushina, Sarutobi Hiruzen was a little surprised. He hadn't seen Uzumaki Mito's letter, so he didn't know that Uzumaki Mito specifically asked to send a person with identity. The reason why Uzumaki Mito did this was also for the good of the Uzumaki clan. After all, if the person sent was of high status, it would also strengthen the connection between the Uzumaki clan and Konoha village. Hello Kushina, are you tired? Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Uzumaki Kushina with a charitable face. However, Uzumaki Kushina didn't buy it very much, and hid behind Dong Shenyao with a frightened expression, only showing his head. It's my fault that people don't talk to you. Hearing Uzumaki Kushina's name for Sarutobi Hiruzen, Tashinyao didn't show anything on the surface, but he laughed in his heart. Ha ha ha, strange slut, I didn't expect Sarutobi Hiruzen to have such a day, but Sarutobi Hiruzen's sultry personality is also very appropriate to be called a strange slut. If Sarutobi Hiruzen knew what Tashinyao had in mind, he would be desperate for him. Sarutobi Hiruzen was a little embarrassed. He didn't expect Uzumaki Kushina to say that, but he couldn't be angry. After all, Tong Yan had no scruples. In desperation, he could only smile awkwardly. That Yao, since you brought Kushina back, let's live in your home for now. As for her placement, we'll talk about it later. Kushina just arrived in the village, and she must be tired from the journey, so take her first. Rest. Now Sarutobi Hiruzen doesn't want to see Uzumaki Kushina for a moment. Okay, I'll take Kushina first. Kushina, say goodbye to Uncle Sarutobi. Dong Shenyao reminded. Farewell to the scumbag. Sarutobi Hiruzen is about to cry. Goodbye, Kushina. Sarutobi Hiruzen was laughing at this time, but it was uglier than crying. After leaving the Hokage building with Kushina, in order to fulfill the promise, Dong Shenyao took her directly to the meatball shop. After eating the meatballs, he brought Kushina home. Fortunately, Dong Shenyao's home is not small, and there are several vacant rooms, so it is not a problem to accommodate Kushina. Kushina, here is your room, what do you think? It's barely okay, but it can't compare to my original home. Uzumaki Kushina said with some disdain. Dong Shenyao wanted to cry, but Uzumaki Kushina used to live in Damingfu. Although the country of the vortex is a small country, it is not comparable to his home. At this moment, a thought appeared in Dong Shenyao's heart. Should I move to a new home? Although Dong Shenyao's current home is not bad, he doesn't want to match his identity as a great elder. Okay, that's the decision. I'll find a place tomorrow and build a mansion. Not long after Uzumaki Kushina was placed, Anbu came to inform Dong Shenyao, and Hokage asked him for a meeting. A shadow clone to take care of Uzumaki Kushina. I went to the Hokage building again. The conference room. When Dong Shenyao entered, he found that Sarutobi Hiruzen was already there, and several elders had also arrived. After waiting for a while, all the elders had arrived. The purpose of bringing everyone here today, I think you should have guessed that Yao is back, and he has brought back a child of the Uzumaki clan. As Sarutobi Hiruzen said, everyone had already guessed it when they saw Dong Shenyao. After all, they all knew Dong Shenyao's mission this time. What I brought back is the princess of the country of Vortex, the daughter of the daimyo. Her name is Uzumaki Kushina. Dong Shenyao introduced. Tell me, everyone, how to place Uzumaki Kushina. Sarutobi Hiruzen glanced at everyone and asked. Naturally, she was closely guarded and then brainwashed to make her loyal to our Konoha. Shimura Danzo said first. No, Uzumaki Kushina is the princess of the country of Vortex after all, and she is also related to Mito-sama. We can't do too much. Nara Long retorted directly. That's right, although Jinchuriki column power is the high-end combat power of the village, it cannot be without human rights. Tashinyao echoed. He couldn't bear to watch a cute little girl like Uzumaki Kushina turn into a killing machine. Then what do you say? Shimura Danzo asked dissatisfied. Naturally, I use love to influence her and make her bond with us Konoha. Tashinyao replied. Chapter 417 Result. Naturally, I use love to influence her and make her bond with us Konoha. Tashinyao replied. Yao said it very well. If you want people to have feelings for the village and fully integrate into the village, you can't do it by brainwashing or coercion. The best way is to bond. As long as Kushina can bond with the village, then naturally, she will give everything for the village. Sarutobi Hiruzen agreed, while the other people nodded, apparently agreeing with Dong Shenyao's point of view. At this time, Shimura Danzo had a gloomy face, glaring at Dong Shenyao fiercely from time to time. Everyone, do you have any other solutions for the placement of Uzumaki Kushina? Sarutobi Hiruzen asked while looking at the others. No, I think Dong Shenyao's method is good. Miyamura said harmoniously. Yeah, as long as Uzumaki Kushina has feelings for the people in the village, it would be even better if she can marry the people in the village. In that case, she will protect the village if she wants to come here. Nara agreed for a long time. And after hearing what Nara had said for a long time, many people had some thoughts in their hearts. If the future Kyuubi, Ninetales, Jinchuriki, column force can marry into my Hyuga clan, then the status of my Hyuga clan in the village will be greatly improved. Hyuga Yi Shang thought to himself. If you send someone to hook up with Uzumaki Kushina, then the Kyuubi, Ninetales, Jinchuriki, column force will be mine in the future. Shimura Danzo suddenly raised hope again. Looking at the thoughtful people, Dong Shenyao sneered in his heart. Although everyone was very calm on the surface, Dong Shenyao could also guess what was in their hearts. If you want to get Kushina, ask me if I agree. Okay, since everyone agrees, let's follow Yao's method. Now let's talk about Kushina's placement. She is currently living in Yao's house. Do you have any suggestions for this? No, I can't let her live with Dong Shenyao. In an instant, a thought flashed through many people's minds. After all, they all wanted to win over the future Jinchuriki column force. If Uzumaki Kushina and Dong Shenyao were always together, if they were together, where would they have any chance to win over? Sarutobi, although Uzumaki Kushina is still young, she is a girl after all. It's not suitable to live with the elder. So I think it's better to arrange an idle house for Uzumaki Kushina to live in. If it's a big deal, we will send a nanny to take care of her. Hyuga Wild Bear was the first to propose. The proposal of the head of Hyuga is good, and I agree with it. Nara echoed for a long time. I don't agree. Before waiting for the others to continue speaking, Dong Shenyao stood up. Kushina is still young. She is only 4 years old now, and she has just separated from her parents. This is the time when someone needs to care about her. I am the only one who knows her best in the village, so she should continue to stay with me in a short time. It won't be too late for her to move out and live alone once she's fully integrated into the village and has new friends. I agree with Yao, a little girl who has just separated from her parents and is far from home, and being accompanied by a familiar person can also make her less homesick. Think about it, if Uzumaki Kushina is very homesick, she will fit in. In our village, I think the most common thing she does every day is to miss her parents. As Tashinyao's teacher, Kei Uehara naturally supported Tashinyao. Kei Uehara is right, Uzumaki Kushina is still young after all, so it's better to let her live with Tashinyao, and move out after a few years when she grows up. Jiro Yoshikawa agreed. No, Dongshinyao not only has to manage the Dark Blade, but is also the principal of the ninja school. He is so busy at ordinary times that he has no time to take care of Uzumaki Kushina, so let Uzumaki Kushina move out and find a nanny to take care of her. Shimura Danzo retorted. In this way, there are those who agree to keep Uzumaki Kushina in Dongshinyao's house, and there are those who disagree. Lord Hokage, what do you think? Narajiu suddenly looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen and asked. In my opinion, let Kushina stay with Dongshinyao. I think if Dongshinyao influences her, it won't be long before Kushina has feelings for the village. As Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen may have various shortcomings and some selfishness, but in the general direction, he puts the village first. In Sarutobi Hiruzen's opinion, no matter who Kushina is good with, as long as she can stay in the village, identify with the village, and fight for the village in the future, then that's enough. In Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes, Dongshinyao is a person who loves the village and can give everything for the village, and let him raise Uzumaki Kushina, so he can undoubtedly infect her. If Uzumaki Kushina can have a bond with Dongshinyao, then naturally in the future will die for the village. Of course, Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't know that the previous performances of Dongshinyao were all acting, and Uzumaki Kushina would probably be close to the ink under his teaching and put his life above the village instead of working hard for the village. Sarutobi, your thinking is too one-sided. If you let others teach Uzumaki Kushina, she will also have a fetter on the village. Shimura Danzo retorted again. Okay, it's useless to continue arguing, raise your hands to vote. Dongshinyao suggested. Alright, I agree. Uehara-chi took the lead in raising his hand. I agree too. Yoshikawa Jiro was the second. And me. Soon everyone expressed their opinions. Finally, adding Dongshinyao's own words, there were a total of 5 people who supported him. Among them, Dongshinyao counted 2 votes, which means more than half. Okay, the minority obeys the majority, and then Uzumaki Kushina will be handed over to Tashinyao. Sarutobi Hiruzen made the final conclusion. Although Shimura Danzo and others are not reconciled, the 1.2 rule for a show of hands has been formulated long ago, and even if they are not satisfied, they can only accept it. If you have nothing to do, let's call it quits. Sarutobi Hiruzen said while looking at the crowd. I have one more thing to tell you. I am going to rebuild a mansion, and I will invite you to admire it when the house is built. Yo, you should have changed places a long time ago. Remember to notify me when you move. Uehara said enthusiastically. We'll be visiting when you move, so don't turn us away, Sarutobi Hiruzen said jokingly. Of course not, don't worry, I will be very warm to entertain you. After talking about the construction of the house, everyone left one after another. Dongshinyao was the first to leave the room. Now he can't wait to tell Kushina the news. Chapter 418, The Return of Sanin Part 1. When Dongshinyao went home and told the news, he didn't expect that Uzumaki Kushina was not only not happy, but gave him a blank look. Uncle, are you in love with me, so you don't want me to leave? Like you, little girl, don't be too affectionate, don't look at yourself, you want boobs, butts. How could I fall in love with you? Dongshinyao disdainfully said, and at the same time he deliberately looked at Uzumaki Kushina's chest and ass. You bastard! Uzumaki Kushina was furious. Although she was still young, no matter how young she was still a woman. As long as she was a woman, no one cared about her body shape. Tashinyao's words just hit Uzumaki Kushina's pain point. 4 years old, of course, there is nothing to ask for. Seeing Uzumaki Kushina angry, Dong Shenyao not only did not comfort her, but smiled proudly, because this was the first time that Middle East Shenyao had the upper hand in their many confrontations. However, his pride did not last long, and soon Kushina calmed down. HMPH, although I really can't compare to those mature women, but I heard that some perverts like me like this. Uzumaki Kushina stared at Dong Shenyao tightly when he spoke, as if to say that he is one of those perverts. Normal state. Dong Shenyao was furious when he heard the words. How could he bear it under such circumstances? He immediately stepped forward and directly picked up Uzumaki Kushina and put it on his lap. HMPH. How dare you say that I am a pervert, Kushina, today I will let you know what the majesty of an adult is. Said, Dong Shenyao raised his palm. Crack. Hearing a clear and pleasant voice, Tashinyao slapped Uzumaki Kushina's ass. Woo, you hit me, I hate you. Uzumaki Kushina cried directly. Was stunned, he didn't expect Uzumaki Kushina to cry just like this. I don't have any effort either. Although puzzled, Tashinyao did not continue to fight, but let Uzumaki Kushina go. Okay, don't cry, it's uncle's fault. Dong Shenyao quickly apologized. Woo, Dong Shenyao's response was still a cry. Kushina, don't cry, okay, uncle will take you to eat delicious food. Dong Shenyao seduced. Really, Uzumaki Kushina stopped crying, but she still buried her face between her arms and didn't lift it up. Of course it's true, uncle, I'll keep my promises, and I won't go back on what I promised. Dong Shenyao patted his chest and assured. Yeah. Suddenly, Uzumaki Kushina raised his head and cheered, and at this time Dong Shenyao realized that she was crying, and there were no tears on her face. Dong Shenyao knew that he had been deceived again. Dong Shenyao felt ashamed that he had been deceived so many times by the same person, and he was still a little girl. Uncle, don't go back on it. Uzumaki Kushina said proudly. Don't worry, I won't regret it, I'll take you to eat something delicious tonight. After speaking, Dong Shenyao got up and walked out of the room with a look of frustration. Watching Tashinyao walk out of the room, a smile appeared on Uzumaki Kushina's face, not because he had tricked Tashinyao, but because he was able to live with Tashinyao. Uzumaki Kushina didn't want to be separated from Tashinyao, as she said. On the contrary, she was very worried that Tashinyao would not want her. After all, in this strange village, she was only a familiar person like Tashinyao. In this way, Uzumaki Kushina lived in Dong Shenyao's house. 5 days later, Uzumaki Kushina was quite familiar with Konoha village. Seeing this, Dong Shenyao knew that it was almost there. The two had just had lunch that day, and Dong Shenyao looked at Uzumaki Kushina and said seriously, Kushina, I'm going to send you to the ninja school to study. Ah, Kushina opened her mouth wide. Uncle, do you hate me anymore? You don't want me anymore. Uzumaki Kushina said aggrieved. How could that be, just to go to the ninja school, not to let you move out? Dong Shenyao explained. But people don't want to go to school. No, you have to go to ninja school, where you can meet many new friends. Tashinyao advised. Seeing that Dong Shenyao was extraordinarily determined, Uzumaki Kushina could only reluctantly agree. Okay, let's go. That's good, you get up early tomorrow morning and I'll take you to school. In the afternoon, Tashinyao went through the admission procedures for Uzumaki Kushina and greeted the teacher at the same time. Although it was past the time for new students to enter, it was really easy for Dong Shenyao, the principal, to put a student in. And Tashinyao did not arrange Uzumaki Kushina to the first grade, and arranged it to the second grade. As a member of the Uzumaki family, although Uzumaki Kushina is young, she has already begun to refine chakra, and she has also learned some ninja things, so she can keep up with it if she goes directly to the second grade. However, the class was specially selected by Tashinyao, and Uzumaki Kushina was not almost all the first class of the ninja family, but the second class. The reason why I didn't choose one group was to avoid Uzumaki Kushina from being disturbed by those from the ninja family, and the other was to avoid Namikaze Minato. Tashinyao saw that Namikaze Minato was in the first group. 053 Although I didn't know Uzumaki Kushina for a long time, Dong Shenyao also fell in love with this naughty little girl. He couldn't bear to watch Uzumaki Kushina die like the original, so at this time he was already trying to find a way to change Uzumaki Kushina's destiny. Completing Uzumaki Kushina's admission procedures, Tashinyao personally sent Uzumaki Kushina to the ninja school early the next morning. Kushina remembered to get along well with classmates. Well, I see. Until he saw Kushina enter the classroom and start the class. Just after returning home, Dong Shenyao was suddenly stunned because he saw a familiar figure in the room. Tsunade. Yao. The two who had been apart for several years hugged tightly. Will Tsunade leave in the future? If you don't go, I won't be separated from you again when I come back this time. Tsunade looked at Dongshin affectionately and said. Great. Dong Shenyao was overjoyed. By the way, Tsunade, when did you come back? I just came back. I didn't even see the teacher and mother. When they were talking, the two had already sat down in the room. Tsunade, how have you been these past few years? Chapter 419, The Return of Sanin Part 2. Tsunade, how have you been these past few years? It's very bad, Yao, do you know how much I miss you? Even a few times I almost couldn't hold back and went back to the village. Tsunade said with tears in his eyes. Dong Shenyao didn't speak, just hugged Tsunade tightly. In this way, Dong Shenyao hugged Tsunade and listened to Tsunade recounting the experience of the past few years. At the same time, he quietly used his inner strength and life force to nourish Tsunade's body and heal the dark wounds left by her fighting in the past few years. This time Tsunade left the village to become stronger, so naturally he could not avoid going through various battles and crises. Although Tsunade has deliberately simplified these dangerous things, Dong Shenyao was able to make up for what Tsunade experienced. How dangerous things are. Maybe some things are nothing to Dong Shenyao, but it is a huge crisis for Tsunade now, and injuries are inevitable. Although Tsunade's medical ninjutsu level is already very high at this time, but some dark wounds cannot be solved by medical ninjutsu alone. The reason why the strength of ninjas declines rapidly when they get older is not only because of the weakening of the body, but also because of the gradual outbreak of dark wounds, and finally, it will reduce the lifespan of ninjas. Even now, ninjas can live past the age of 60. There are also very few. Some of the ninjas did not die in battle, but broke out and died on the sickbed. Inner strength and life force have a very good healing effect on dark wounds, so Tsunade only felt very comfortable in his body at this time, and unconsciously leaned closer to Dong Shenyao. Soon it was noon, and Tsunade was still talking about his experience, when suddenly a bululu sounded, and Tsunade's face turned Yuhi. It's getting late, Tsunade, let's go eat. Tashinyao said very considerately. Tsunade replied softly. The two immediately left the house and found a restaurant in the village to start lunch. After lunch, Tsunade had to go to see his teacher Sarutobi Hiruzen and his mother, so the two separated temporarily, but they agreed to have dinner together in the evening. With Tsunade, Tashinyao went to see the new home he was building. Dong Shenyao had already determined the address of his new home 3 days ago, and then hired someone to build it. When Dong Shenyao came to the new home to have a look, he found that the general framework of his new home had been built. After asking, Dong Shenyao learned that it would take at least 3 months for the new home to be completed. Although it was still 3 months away, Dong Shenyao didn't care, and after that, he went to the Dark Blade for a turn. Tashinyao came to the ninja school to wait for Uzumaki Kushina to leave school. The bell rang, and it didn't take long to see a large number of students pouring out of the teaching building. Seeing this, Dong Shenyao couldn't help but think of what he looked like when he was in school. Isn't that the same way? Leave. It didn't take long for Dong Shenyao to see Uzumaki Kushina in the crowd, but he found that Uzumaki Kushina lowered his head slightly and looked a little angry. Kushina. Ah. Hearing someone calling her, Uzumaki Kushina looked up quickly and saw Dong Xinyao at the school gate, which made her very happy, and a smile appeared on her face. Uncle. After shouting, Uzumaki Kushina hurried over. Uncle, you're here to pick me up. Did Kushina have a good time today? Not happy. Facing Tashinyao's question, the smile on Uzumaki Kushina's face disappeared. What's wrong? What happened? Dong Xinyao asked with concern. Uncle, they don't like me, and they call me Nishi Yuhi. He didn't expect that it was his first day of school, and Uzumaki Kushina had this nickname. Kushina, don't worry about them, they are jealous of you, look at how beautiful your Yuhi-colored hair is. Dong Xinyao comforted. Really, uncle? Of course, how could I lie to you, let's go home. Walking on the road, Dong Xinyao continued. It doesn't matter that Kushina actually has a nickname, it means that your classmates accept you, and who doesn't have a nickname, you don't need to worry about it, you just need to rest well in the future, it's good to have more contact with your classmates. Of course, if any male classmates dare to bully you, you will teach them a lesson. Quote. Well, I know uncle. Uzumaki Kushina is not a weak person, of course he will not bear being bullied. After bringing Uzumaki Kushina home, Dong Xinyao assigned a shadow clone to take care of her, while he went to Tsunade's appointment, and he didn't come back until late at night. In this way, as Tsunade returned to the village, Dong Xinyao life became richer, so he asked Tsunade for a date when he had nothing to do. And Tsunade's experience is also very useful. When she came back, she already had the strength of Quasi-Shadow. Of course, it was precisely because she broke through to Quasi-Shadow that she came back. And just 2 months after Tsunade returned to the village, Orochimaru and Jiraiya, as if they had agreed, also returned to the village one after another. So far, the future Sannin has all returned. When Orochimaru and Jiraiya came back, they also had the strength of Quasi-Shadows, which made Konoha village add 3 more Quasi-Shadows, and their strengths improved a lot. At the same time, Sarutobi Hiruzen was also very happy. The teacher is of course proud, just like Kai Uehara, every time he talks about Dong Xinyao, his face is full of pride. It has been 2 months since Uzumaki Kushina came to Konoha, which also made her familiar with the village. Of course, what surprised Tashinya the most was that Uzumaki Kushina became the boss of the class, and she actually accepted the entire class. Little brother, of course, she did all this with her fists. In addition, Uzumaki Kushina's original nickname of Nishi Yuhi Persimmon has also been changed to Blood Yuhi Pepper. Everything is the same as in the original. Although some changes have occurred, some things still happened. As a member of the Uzumaki family, Uzumaki Kushina's talent is naturally unnecessary to say, especially in the current situation where no one knows ninjutsu. Uzumaki Kushina with a strong physique is taking advantage of it, so he is an invincible player in the class. Didn't say anything about it, as long as Uzumaki Kushina was happy. But what makes Tashinya helpless is that, for some reason, Uzumaki Kushina just doesn't like Tsunade. Since the two first met and learned that Tsunade is Tashinya's lover, Uzumaki Kushina is very hostile to Tsunade, as if Tsunade robbed her. The food is average. Dong Xinyao also persuaded him about this, but Uzumaki Kushina just went his own way and did not mean to repent at all. After a long time, Dong Xinyao had no choice but to ignore it, just try to keep the two of them from seeing each other again. Chapter 420 Coming World War II. With the return of Sannin, the strength of Konoha village has reached a peak, and a new generation of ninjas has also grown up, making Konoha stronger every day. Seeing that everything was developing towards the bright side, everyone in Konoha village unconsciously put on smiles on their faces, but Dong Xinyao was not as optimistic as the others, because he knew that World War II was about to start. Although Dong Xinyao didn't know exactly when World War II started, he still knew the general time, within a year or two. However, even though he knew that the war was coming, Dong Xinyao was not nervous, because it might be a bad thing for others, but it was a good thing for Dong Xinyao, because if the war started, then the system would probably turn on the war function again, and at that time he can get a lot of god building points by killing people. Although Dong Shenyao has done some system quests over the years, most of them are low-level quests, and he doesn't get many god building points, so he doesn't dare to exchange too many things. Especially when Dong Shenyao's chakra quality also reached cage level, Dong Shenyao felt that his magic point was not enough, because as he became a real cage level master, the system was updated again. Not only the authority of Dong Shenyao has been upgraded but also a new function has been opened. Before Dong Shenyao asked 030 to ask the system if it was possible to exchange bloodstain limits for others, the system answered yes, and when the system was updated and the authority of Dong Shenyao was increased, this function was also enabled. In the past, after Dong Shenyao exchanged the bloodstain, the system would directly give the bloodstain to Dong Shenyao, but now Dong Shenyao can choose not to directly apply it to himself, but to exchange it out for others to use, but this way if so, Dong Shenyao would need to spend double the god creation points. For example, the normal level Uchiha bloodline can be exchanged for only 5,000 god building points, but if it is used by others, it needs 10,000 god building points. This is still cheap. If those S-rank bloodstains are exchanged like this, it will increase the cost of tens of thousands of god-making points at once. If Dong Shenyao wanted to unify the ninja world, he naturally needed subordinates, and he had to be powerful subordinates. In addition to the known powerhouses in the original work, Dong Shenyao also needs to cultivate by himself. But it is not easy to cultivate a strong man. But it would be different if Dong Shenyao could give other people a bloodstain limit. With bloodstains, the chance of becoming a strong man would be even greater. After the system opened this function, Dong Shenyao also tried to use it several times. Of course, the exchange of Dong Shenyao was relatively cheap, just like the ordinary Uchiha bloodline, which only cost 10,000 god-making points. In the end, Dong Shenyao got a tube of fresh Yuhi-colored blood-like serum. After that, according to the method taught by the system, Dong Shenyao injected the blood into the body of a dark blade ninja. After the ninja was tortured by pain, he successfully obtained the Uchiha bloodline. In the end, the pain caused his spirit to fluctuate violently, so he directly opened Sharingan. Although it was only Tomo, it showed that he did succeed in getting the Uchiha bloodline. Because this person has been brainwashed by Dong Shenyao before, he can be regarded as the dead man of Dong Shenyao, so although he is surprised that Dong Shenyao can give him a blood-stained limit, some of them are just worshipping, but there is no intention of leaking secrets. After the success of the experiment, Dong Shenyao was not in a hurry to create a large number of ninjas with blood-stained boundaries, because even with the blood-stained boundaries, it is not always possible to become a strong person. The Sharingan is very powerful, but the Uchiha clan can achieve quasi-cage. There are not many levels, and at present there is not a single Uchiha family with cage-level strength except Uchiha Madara. This shows that although the bloodstain limit is good, other conditions are needed to become a strong person. After that, Dong Shenyao specially dispatched an earth clone and began to observe in the dark blade, looking for ninjas with the potential to become strong. The so-called potential, in the eyes of Dong Shenyao, is talent and perseverance, and the most important thing is perseverance. The bloodstain boundary is not omnipotent, and it is impossible to completely change a person's talent, so Dong Shenyao is mainly looking for people with good talent in cultivation, so that after he obtains the bloodstained boundary, his talent will become better. In addition, there is great perseverance. Only with great perseverance can one become a strong person. Even Dong Shenyao values perseverance more. If he has great perseverance, just like Might Dai, then even if his talent is inferior, Dong Shenyao will give him bloodstains. After investigation, Dong Shenyao now has some goals, but he is not in a hurry to make a move. After all, it is not cheap to exchange a good bloodstain boundary. Even with his current number of god-making points, he can't exchange a few, so naturally it is be cautious. Time flies, and in a blink of an eye, time has come to Konoha 29 years. Compared to when Dong Shenyao first crossed into this world, Konoha village became very prosperous at this time. Now the population of Konoha village has reached hundreds of thousands. Most of these people moved to Konoha village after the First World War. Since Konoha won a 1-2 victory in World War I, people in the country of fire have seen the strength of Konoha village, so many people moved to Konoha for safety. Of course, those who can move here are not poor people, at least they can be regarded as well-off families. With the addition of these people, Konoha has become more and more prosperous, and at the same time, the village gets more commission tasks. The more money you earn, the more resources you can get, and then you can train more and more powerful ninjas. Under the virtuous circle, Konoha village will only get stronger and stronger. At this time, although the villages of Iwagakure and Sunagakure have also emerged from the quagmire of war and have entered the stage of development, they are far from being compared with the village of Konoha. Seeing that the village of Konoha is getting stronger and stronger, the village of Iwagakure can't sit still with Sunagakure village. After all, due to the First World War, they and Konoha are not in harmony. Once Konoha becomes strong, it is likely to find an opportunity to retaliate in the future, so a conspiracy begins. The two villages began to conspire, and all this was unknown to Konoha. The long-term peace has made Konoha ninjas gradually lose their vigilance, even on the border of the country of fire. The patrolling ninjas arranged by Konoha village on the border have become a little paralyzed. This night, a group of ninjas quietly passed through the rain. The border of the country has entered the territory of the country of fire. At this time, it was the dead of night, and the sound of insects could be heard from time to time. In a secret checkpoint, several Konoha ninjas were chatting.